I put a lot more time into these season-long predictions, and I have no idea what's going to happen.
It's funny, David. I started to yesterday, and then I got distracted with some other stuff, and I've got a pretty good idea on one division. The rest of them, I'm just kind of throwing darts at a board right now. I come on, really? Do we really have a clue?
No.
In the NFC West, what the blank's going to happen?
No, I'm so glad you said that. I have literally changed my mind 3 times this morning.
I'm right there with you. How can you not? It's huge, Ryan. It's huge. Largest week 1 number ever.
Yep. Staggeringly big.
And it wasn't a very good game. It was a close. David loved it, but aesthetically, it was not a pleasing game, I guess would be a better way to say it. Sending commercials off at 6:50 or 5:59. Here we go. Let's do it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this NFL Thursday.
NFL Thursday.
How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. You did it. You made it. You didn't think you had the strength in you to do it. You did it again. You made it through the 200-plus days. Hell, you made it to the college season kicking off. You could make it to the NFL season. And you know what awaits you? Commercials on Red Zone. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, David. I am good. I am very fascinated, and I'm fired up about the season. We're going to do our best to break it down, although for a fact, we don't have a clue.
No.
Don't have a clue.
No.
David and I had a brief discussion this morning, and he's like, I put a lot of time into it. And I'm like, I put a lot of time into a couple of divisions. There are others in which I don't know if it's worth taking any time, and you may be better throwing darts at a dartboard than trying to prognosticate what's going to happen in certain divisions. But I am fascinated by what you just said. For a few years now, I don't know, how long's the Red Zone been going? 10 years?
No, I think
15 years.
I thought Hansen, it was around 15 years, I thought. Let me look it up. Keep going. I'll look it up.
No, that's fine. But I say that because it has become an institution for so many people. That is what they watch. Like Seth Everett, who comes on the show every week, does not watch the NFL, watches the Red Zone. Our old producer, John Cassio, is a Red Zone only type of person. I know plenty of people who spend their Sundays watching the Red Zone. And I think largely the commercial-free aspect of it is something that really resonated with fans.
2009.
And Scott Hansen would start every Sunday at 1 and say, get ready for 7 hours of commercial-free football. He doesn't say that anymore. He announced yesterday, it will be 7 hours of Red Zone football. We all knew it was coming. Will it lead to the demise of the Red Zone? Are the commercials airing on that channel of what they've given us now for 16 years? Commercial-free football. It all changes Sunday. How will that affect all of you? If you're a fan of one team, it doesn't matter. If you're a diehard Dolphins, Bucs, Jags fan, Lions, Tigers, Bears, oh my, I get it. You're going to watch your team.
If they were smart, which I don't think they are, if they were smart, they would do it like the Masters. I believe the Masters has 4 minutes of commercials an hour. I believe they have 4 sponsors. They each get 2 30-second commercials an hour. They get it at 28 and at 58. That's it. If they were smart, and you'd still, that's 4 corporate sponsors. By the way, you can get big money from those 4. Think about that. Oh, by the way, for 7 hours of Red Zone, there's only 4 companies that get their ads seen and heard. They get 2 commercials an hour.
I thought, and that's smart, David. I'm not saying that that's not a bad idea. If they want to maximize revenue, and I'm all for maximizing commercial revenue. Oh, yeah, by the way, the text line's 21,000, the keyword's Miller. If you're interested in sponsoring, we'd love to hear from you. I'm all for it. All for it. But I would do similar to what soccer has done, where they wrap the screen at the beginning of the game with the logo or place a logo in this hour. In fact, golf coverage, what they've done with a lot of the other majors. This final hour is brought to you commercial free by Rolex or whomever it may be.
Right.
Those were that would be the way I would try to do that, to give a little bit of originality to the advertising and exclusivity to the advertiser.
My understanding, and I have never purchased Red Zone. Obviously, I've been busy for a while on Sundays and Mondays. But I thought I read that last year it wasn't commercial free either. They didn't run 30-second spots, but they had banner ads. They did kind of the soccer thing, I thought, last year. I thought I read that. I thought that Scott Hansen last year changed his intro from 7 hours of commercial free to something else. I thought I read that. Now, I don't have Red Zone. I don't know. Those that did, you did. My understanding was you didn't see a set 30-second commercial where you lost the screen of football, but that they worked in banner advertising, picture in picture, that sort of deal last year.
They did some split screen.
I don't remember a single person complaining, by the way.
I don't either. And I watch some Red Zone. As I've talked about on this show, my living room turns into a sports bar on Saturdays and Sundays. There are lots of televisions, and already told the wife, I said, I'll give you the sound at 1:00 on Sunday, reluctantly, because the Bucs and the Falcons are playing, and the Dolphins and the Colts are playing, and I'm really interested in both of those games. But I am interested in Aaron Rodgers at the Jets and to see what goes on with all of that in Pittsburgh. It not because my wife's a Pittsburgh fan. As a sports fan, I've always liked the Steelers, so I'm a little fascinated by that. I've already picked out the 3 games. That's what I'm watching. Doesn't bode well for trying to watch the Jags or the Browns and the Bengals, which I have a curious fascination of because, the Bengals can't win in Cleveland.
No, they cannot. And the Bengals losing to inferior opponents week 1 has cost them dearly the last couple years since they've missed the playoffs by a game both seasons. And the Bengals know it. And the Bengals have been kind of like LSU. It's ironic that you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase as the leaders of the Bengals, A, the Bengal Tiger, LSU Tiger, and B, Joe and Jamal, both from LSU, because LSU was tired of losing week 1, and they spent the whole offseason focused on the Clemson game. Cincinnati has talked all training camp and preseason about we got to get off to better starts. And now they go to Cleveland week 1, and Joe Burrow has won there once.
And Cincinnati spent a lot of the preseason with guys playing who normally do not. Joe Burrow played far more. Chase played far more. They have approached, as David just said, this week 1 very differently than they have approached week 1 at any point during the Joe Burrow era.
But, folks, we are making our picks for the 2025 NFL season. We are making them on this show. In fact, we will do so next hour. In our 7 a.m. Eastern hour, we will make our season-long picks. Make all the jokes you want. You don't know what's going to happen either. Got it? Okay, good.
I will change my mind at least 3 times between now and when we do our picks. Because I still don't know who I'm picking to win the Super Bowl. I've got a pretty good idea, but I don't know for certain yet.
Yeah, I had that one nailed down months ago, but it's the minutia. All right. It's also writing down your predictions and then doing the math and seeing if you add up.
Funny you say that, David, because I have gone away from that this year. I'm not worried about actual records. What I did while picking my division winners is I tried to find a range in which I thought they would win between, 10 and 12 games, between 8 and 10 games. I am not going to sit here and tell you that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be 7 and 10. I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. But I have a range for teams. And because of that range, I've slotted them in a spot in their division.
Okay.
You want me to come up with actual numbers? It's going to be a lot more work during the commercial break and a lot less talk. But that's okay because, let's be honest, David, we don't talk that much anymore.
No, we don't, but I don't want you doing any more work, please. You already do enough. I have enough Catholic Miller and Moulton guilt on this show as it is. All right? So, no, I'll do the individual records for you. And yes, they add up.
And that's a Miller and Moulton thing.
Yep.
Just to let you behind the curtain, we've obviously been doing these predictions for damn near 20 years. And I don't know, 10, 12 years ago.
It was early. It was really early.
Maybe 15 years ago. We're in Act 1.
Yep.
And I said to David, your totals seem off.
And I went, what? And at the
time,
time,
I added mine up the night before, and I'm like, mine were way off. I had far more wins than losses. And at the end of the day, this thing has to equal out.
And at the time, there was only a 16-game regular season, so there was 256 regular season games. So you needed to add up to 128 and 128. And I think my math was like 137 and 119.
Exactly.
Mark goes, you got to do better than that, dude. I can't let you. I hold Lee Sterling accountable. I'm holding you accountable.
And you can hold Miller and Moulton accountable with our prediction sure to go wrong in the 7 o'clock hour. We've got another good show for you. A little change in time frame today. JP Shadrick had to adjust. He is going to be in the 7 o'clock hour. He will preview the Jag season and their opener against Carolina, a must-win for the Jags. And Carolina is going to be a little saltier this year. They're going to beat some teams. And Roy Cummings to do the same with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their monstrous opener on the road, taking on the Falcons. That, along with Miller and Moulton's picks, plus the starting 5, is a mere 25 minutes away. Thank you so much for joining us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Sonny, don't the Rays have 7 with Toronto? I mean, I
4 in Tampa, 3 in Toronto, including the final 3 of the season.
mean, I disagree with you, Sonny, because they're playing one of the 2 best teams in the American League. But hey, you may be right.
Now, I'll say this, Sonny, the Rays need to continue to have a good week. 4 with Cleveland at home, and then 3 on the south side of Chicago against the White Sox, and then they go to the north side. I know the White Sox have been playing better, but if you're the Rays, you need to – first off, Cleveland's only, what, a half a game behind you? So if you're the Rays, you need to take – also, you can't split series at this point. Only 2 back in the loss column.
All right. I just want you to know, as of right of this moment, I have 5 divisions completed. I don't know who's finishing 2nd or 3rd in the AFC North yet. I don't know who's finishing 2nd, 3rd, or 4th in the AFC South yet. And I haven't written down a damn thing in the NFC West. I have not even written down a name. I don't have a clue. I have changed my mind 6 times. I am very scared, David, and help me out here, because if you have them going to the playoffs, I shouldn't do this. But do you have Arizona going to the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I'm not going to pick them.
So,
and Canada relief Stafford completes most seasons. He's a tough son of a bitch, man.
So I have been saying for 4 months, I have no clue about the NFC West. And sure enough, I put a couple hours into this. I went through schedules, how teams start seasons, end seasons, week 1 games, the whole deal. All right. I map it all out. I got squiggly lines and cross outs and what have you. And then I sit down an hour ago and I write it out all nice and neat.
Right.
And then 20 minutes ago, I flipped the 1st and 3rd place teams in the NFC West. So I could have gone with the arrows, but instead I just tried to write over them. I really could have used some whiteout.
All right. We got a text. Someone went to Chat GPT and basically searching for estimated annual earnings and the net worth of Miller and Moulton. If you want me to do this now, I will. If you want me to do it at 8:15, I will. Because it's effing glorious.
First off, why would they do that? Secondly, how about if you just reach out to one of us?
No, ChatGPT's fun. They had a little fun. I think it's hysterical.
I do too.
They sent screenshots back of the two of what it says.
The net worth of Miller and Moulton.
I told my wife, by the way, when she does her thing today, before she does any of the answering, to print out the questions, to print out the form for the self-evaluation.
Oh, please do. Please.
So I will send it to you so we both have it for next week one day.
Mark sends me a text last night. My wife has to do a self-evaluation at work. It's supposedly to make things go better in the office. I said to Mark, we'll do it. We'll do it live.
I said, I think we should do it for the betterment of the show.
And I said, I agree, live.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. We are 14 hours away from the NFL season kicking off in Philadelphia, with the Eagles hosting the Cowboys, one of 8 division games. Half the games being played week 1 are division games. That's a lot. That's a lot. And if you put a lot into the week 1 winners stat, which Miller and Moulton have for over 15 years, it was
half
very simple.
of the week 1 winners make the playoffs. 25% of the week 1 losers make the playoffs.
Now,
it's
that was
gone to 17.
Right. That was the stat when it was, 6 teams making the playoffs in a 16-game season. Now, they've gone to 7, obviously, playoff teams in a 17-game season. But Miller and Moulton have talked about this in our second and third acts as well. The importance of week 1. Last year, 9 teams who won on opening day or opening week made the playoffs. 5 losers made the playoffs. That's a lot. That's much more than normal. The year before that, the numbers were 10-4. 10 winners made it, only 4 losers. 2022, 10 winners, 4 losers. So that's 29 and 13. The last 3 years, 17-game seasons, 7 playoff teams per conference, 29 and 13. The significance of the week 1 result, which seems absurd, right? It's less than 6% of a season outcome. Yet you look back at week 1 and you go, oh, yeah, we found out right then and there that team was going to be a playoff team and that team wasn't. Now, Washington lost week 1 last year at Tampa. You do have games like that, like Baltimore's in Buffalo. I think most of us believe they're both going to make the playoffs. There are games like that.
But I will say, because I'm very curious of what the Chiefs have this year, with Rice out the first 6 games, breaking in a new left tackle. I'm very interested in the Chiefs, who won all those games last year, so many of them close. Who do the Chiefs open with? The Chargers.
Yep.
Do you believe that this year that division's going to give us 3 playoff teams? I don't. So I look at that game as a pretty big game.
We will make our official picks at the top of next hour. I am curious. Can I ask you one question?
Of course.
number of new playoff teams for Mark Miller in his season-long prediction is?
I don't know yet, David. I really don't know. I'm not done. I don't know. I will not be done with this until the moment we do the segment on air.
So you're going to want me to go first and buy even a little more time, are you?
No, because maybe I did. I will say during the break, I am so perplexed by the NFC West. I said, David, do you have Team X going to the playoffs? And he said, yeah.
Said, yeah.
Yeah. I said, okay, then I'm not taking them because I was thinking about it. And if we both take them, that sucks.
Right.
If we both would have said Georgia Tech's going to make the playoff,
right.
That was like, what the hell? He picked Washington. I picked Georgia Tech. Those are some out there picks.
Right. Right. But if one of us had picked the other, right? I mean, I think Mark went second. If I had picked Georgia Tech, Mark was like, "Well, then I'm going Louisville." Heck,
right? Somebody else is going. That's all there is to it.
Right. So yeah, I have 5 new playoff teams. For the record, last year there were only 4 new playoff teams. That is the second lowest total of the last 12 years. 2015, there were only 3 new playoff teams. Every other season of the last 12, 2013 through 2024, the average number of new playoff teams per year, 5.75. In 10 of the last 12 seasons, there's been at least 5 new playoff teams from year to year. At least 5. We've had a couple years of 7 new playoff teams from one year to the next. So I'm pretty sure most of us are looking at last year's final standings and thinking that this year's going to be similar. Maybe the win total will change, but the playoff teams will be roughly the same. Recent history, and we're talking about a generation. Recent history says, yeah, find 5 new teams. Do as much digging as you need to do. The number is 5. And if the choice is between 6 or 4, go 6.
Yeah, right now I think I have 3.
Okay. Didn't Pat come on the show and say he only had 2?
He had 2, and his co-host Jim Miller had 1.
1, right.
And I listened to him the other day. They're like, we know we're going to be wrong. We want to be right, but you can't find the team.
They know these numbers.
I'm the other way. Like, I looked at your team last night. When I spent yesterday afternoon, I'm looking at the NFC East, and I go through every team, and I got a range of wins. And I did the Giants last. When we did this exercise with the Vikings a year ago, and we said, are they going to be favored in a game?
Right. We wondered. We thought they'd be favored in 3 games all year.
Right. How many did they win?
14.
But when I look at the Giants, I don't see them being favored more than like twice all year.
There you go.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
They're going to, based on what the schedule is, who they play, they look like a team that's going to compete with New Orleans for the first overall pick.
They have, by numerous metrics. This is how hard the Giants' schedule is. There's 3 different metrics that have them as the hardest schedule in the league. Returning 1-loss record, you name it. I mean, basically it's like, oh yeah, the Giants got the hardest schedule in the league. It's why, to me, and I'll spend 10 seconds on this team, to me, ownership needed to extend the coach and the GM now, or if you're basing their employment on the 1-loss record this year, then it's unlikely they're going to win enough games to deserve a contract extension. So you might as well make the determination now. Are these the guys you want? And since they drafted the quarterback of the future and he was the hand-picked choice of the head coach, shouldn't you just go all in with what you have?
And David, you're so right. We've said this about numerous teams over the years. Sorry to belabor on the New York Giants, but what's the most important thing for the New York Giants this year?
The development of Jackson Dart.
That's it. That is it. Everything else is gravy.
Now, that development may take place during the week in practice. I mean, who knows? Russell Wilson may play well. They may win. But that's the most important thing right now in that franchise.
But I looked at their schedule, and they could, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, they could lose their first 6 games if memory served me right. I mean, they could be 0-6 to start, really and truly.
Oh, yeah.
And it might be 0-7. At that point, Jackson Dart's going to be starting for them. The season's over. It's time to move on. So the development of Dart is everything to them. Now, when you're talking about a team like Miami, yeah, their GM and coach, that's about wins. It's no longer about developing players. It's no longer about a system. It's how many damn games are you going to win if you're going to keep your job? And I see a path for Miami to be a team above 500. Also see a path for them to win 6 games. So it's a crapshoot, but every situation is different in how it impacts the coach and GM. And if you have a quarterback you're going to develop, then make sure the coaching staff's in cohesion going into the season. Starting 5, that's next. When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Done.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. JP Shadrick, 1 hour from now. Top of the hour, Miller and Moulton unveil their NFL predictions for 2025. Yes, sure to be wrong. I mean, who the heck knows what's going to happen in this league, right?
Nobody. I mean, I'm looking at my picks, and I'm like, I guess I have one, not much of a surprise. I cowered and did what I think other people did. But you've got to find that 5-6 win team that's going to have the big year, because it happens every year. Every year.
Last year, of course, it was the Commanders with the huge jump. Will there be a Washington Commanders team this year? Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
We will start with the National Football League because the season gets underway tonight. The Eagles, 8.5-point favorites at home against the Cowboys. 8:20 p.m. Eastern is scheduled kick on NBC with Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. Meanwhile, Scott Hansen confirms the Red Zone to have commercials this season. Are you annoyed enough to get rid of Red Zone? Should that be our poll question?
Yes, something, and will you watch less? But I think Red Zone should be part of the poll question today.
With commercials now on Red Zone, will you buy it? Cowboys, by the way, say cornerback Trayvon Diggs and left tackle Tyler Guyton will play tonight. How much? Well, that's a good question. Diggs likely to be the third corner. All right. Guyton did practice the last 10 days. Remember, he suffered a broken bone in his knee in training camp. So they think Diggs likely to be the third corner. Guyton, they're going to throw him out there and see how long he can go for. Good luck with that. Raiders wide receiver Jacoby Myers unsure if he has a long-term future in Las Vegas. He was honest. He said, they want to see more of me. Well, then I want to see more of them, see whether or not I want to stay. Myers turns 29 in November. He is the best wide receiver on the roster, but then again, Brock Bowers is the number one weapon on the team, and they just drafted Genty, and we'll see if they invest in Myers. Final year of his contract this year, he's making 10.5, although his cap hit is 15. To baseball. Things are tightening up. Especially in the chase for the final wild card spot. We'll begin with the two best teams in the National League. The Brewers with a 5-run first held off the Phillies 6-3. Phillies lead in the East 5.5. Milwaukee's lead in the Central is 6. Mets lost in Detroit. Kerry Carpenter with a 3-run homer. Tigers pulled away and won 6-2. Tigers lead is 10. Magic number is 13. Yeah, that's right. We can go magic number with the Tigers. Can darn near do it with a couple others too, but we'll just stick with Detroit for now. Cubs blew an opportunity to stay close because they gave up 4 in the 7th to Atlanta, and the Braves beat them 5-1. Right now, the Cubs are the 4 seed, and they have a 4-game lead for the 4 seed. So it looks, Milwaukee 6 up, that the Cubs will be a wild card, but they would host the best of 3, which currently would be against San Diego. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay, 3-game sweep. They've won 4 in a row. Rays beat the Mariners 9-4, thanks to 4 in the first, 4 in the second. Seattle, wrong time of year to be losing. September, they still trail, or excuse me, Tampa Bay trails Seattle now by just 2.5 games for the final playoff spot, 2 in the loss column.
And that's the number that everybody's behind Seattle in the loss column, because the Rays and Royals are tied at 2.5 back. The Rangers have played more games, but still tied in the loss column. They're 1.5 games back, in Seattle leading the wild card right now by that 1.5 games over Texas.
And Cleveland is just 3 back, and I believe 2 in the loss column.
That's correct.
So you have Texas, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and Cleveland, all 2 games back of the Mariners in the loss column for the final playoff spot in the American League. Toronto beat Cincinnati 13-9. The Reds have lost 8 of 11, and they're torturing us.
Torturing us. Are you kidding me right now? This is really starting to honk me off, David.
Their over-under was a lock a week and a half ago, and now they go 3-8 in their last 11. Reds are 5 back of the Mets for the final playoff spot. The Jays, meanwhile, had a good day. After winning 13-9 in Cincinnati, Boston lost at home to Cleveland 8-1. So the Red Sox are now 3.5 back, and so are the Yankees, because Houston scored 4 in the 8th to beat the Yankees 8-7. So Red Sox and Yankees now 3.5 back, and Houston with the win and Seattle's loss. The Astros are now 4 up in the West.
That Yankee bullpen continues to disappoint them. That was a big loss yesterday. They had an opportunity to gain some ground on Toronto. Instead, they blow a game late again.
It was 4-4 in the 8th, and they gave the ball to Devin Williams. Why they would give the ball to Devin Williams in a big spot at this point in the season, I have no idea. 1 hit and 3 walks, and 4 runs later, the game was over. Arizona got 6 shutout innings from Zach Gallen in a 2-0 win over Texas, and we mentioned they stay 1.5 games back. And the Royals saw Joe Adell with a homer and 4 RBIs for the Angels in LA's 4-3 win over Kansas City, so they stay 2.5 back, tied with the Rays. Ohtani, this is interesting. He said he didn't feel well, so they scratched him from his start as the pitcher, but he still batted leadoff and went 2 for 5. Anybody else find that interesting?
No. I mean, you're DHing. You got to go to the plate 5 times. This is like a Lee Trevino. I got to focus for 45 seconds, 70 times. It's a lot less taxing on your body to play DH than it is to go out and throw 5 innings.
Okay. Pirates 3-0 over the Dodgers, whose lead in the West remains 2.5, because the Orioles went into San Diego and swept the Padres. San Diego's lost 4 in a row. Baltimore a winner 7-5.
You know, after that awful start by the Baltimore Orioles, they've seemed to have figured it out in the second half.
Mark, so much so that if you're a general manager, are you like, because I think they were, what was the rate? It's like 53 games. They were like 18-35, something like that. I mean, 16-37. I mean, it was really bad. A third of the way through the season, they had less than 20 wins. I believe, Mark, since that point in time, they're like 10 games over 500. So if you're running the Orioles, are they the team of the first
on the radar and you keep moving on? Yeah.
Are they the team of the first third of the season, the team of the last 2/3 of the season? By the way, same with the A's. Okay, the A's went 1-19 during a 3-week span in the spring. Okay, the whole rest of the season, they're well over 500. I digress. How about the Giants? They've won 10 of 11. Is this a Colorado Rockies 2007 run coming from nowhere way below 500 to make the playoffs. Matt Chapman with 2 homers. Giants 10-8 over Colorado. They are the closest team now to the Mets in the National League for the final playoff spot. They're just 4 back.
22 games left. They've got to win 17. No, I'm being serious. If they're going to catch the Mets, they're 4 back. How many out of the final 22 do they have to win?
I'll hedge my answer. The Mets have 3 in Cincinnati and 4 in Philly coming up. Okay. The Giants could get a lot of help here. Okay. A 2-5 run for the Mets in the next week is not out of the question. Just saying. So I think that might make your 17-5 closer to 15-7.
Okay. 6 with the Dodgers for the Giants. Rest of the schedule, manageable.
Washington swept Miami. How about that? The Marlins go into New York, take 3 or 4 from the Mets, then go to Washington and get swept. 10-5 Nats the final. White Sox scored 3 in the ninth to beat the Twins 4-3 in front of 11,900 in Minneapolis. Man, are they angry. And are they angry in St. Louis? Second smallest crowd in that stadium's history, 17,516. Wilson Contreras did have a homer and 4 RBIs in the Cardinals' 5-1 win over the A's. NBA, Pablo Torre reported that the Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, helped fund a now bankrupt company called Aspiration. He invested $50 million 4 years ago. And oh, by the way, out of that $50 million, Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard received $28 million for a no-show job. All right, it comes across as a clear way to circumvent the salary cap. The Clippers released a detailed statement last night, basically saying, Pablo Torre, you got this all wrong. Yes, we invested money in this company. We got defrauded, just like a bunch of other people. By the way, the $50 million, it was not directed that $28 million go to Kawhi. This company did that on their own. By the way, they were a sponsor for us for 2 years, okay? I mean, the Clippers denied strenuously yesterday every element of Pablo Torre's story. It's very interesting. What is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right. College football news. We're going to go ratings. Texas, Ohio State was the highest rated week 1 game ever. 16.6 million people watched Ohio State beat Texas. It peaked in the final half hour at well over 18 million viewers. That's a big college football number.
It's a monster number. And the one clear takeaway from me about this number, hey, Ohio State, get used to playing at noon. And in the words of one David Moulton, shut up and cash the checks. Because when that type of number surfaces, you don't think Fox is saying, we need more Buckeyes at noon.
You think sports fans want games with consequences? Do you think the college football fan rallied to the marquee matchups? Texas, Ohio State, 16.6 million. 3 other games, week 1, drew over 10 million average viewers.
And the benchmark for college football, for it being a big game, you do over 6 million, college football says, ooh, that's a good number. Think about what David just said.
Notre Dame, Miami, almost 11 million viewers. Bama, Florida State, like 10.6. LSU, Clemson, little over 10 million viewers. That's 4 games, week 1 of college football, that had over 10 million viewers. Do you know how many games there were the whole regular season last year that had over 10 million viewers? 6. College football just did 4 week 1. Now, you got to give us some matchups here. I mean, you gave us games. We'll see what the ratings are week 2.
Well,
I'm second guess. game on the board is Iowa State.
But I think the Michigan-Oklahoma game has a chance to do a big number.
We'll see. We shall see. Tennis, women's quarters. Remember the story of American Amanda Anisimova, who made it to the finals of Wimbledon and got humiliated 6-love, 6-love? Yeah, the woman who humiliated her, Iga Swiatek, Anisimova beat her yesterday in straight sets in the quarters to advance to the semis, where she'll face Naomi Osaka, who won in straight sets as well. It's awesome. Men's side, big run by the 25th seeded Canadian Felix Alisime. It's going to end in a couple days. He's got to face Sinner, and Sinner hasn't lost. Well, yeah. Anyway, he looks amazing. What else we got? NASCAR, a federal judge denies the injunction that Michael Jordan's race team and Front Row Motorsports were wanting. NASCAR trying to play nice, though. They could take their charters away immediately. NASCAR said, we will let you keep your charters for the rest of the year while this is adjudicated. That was like an olive branch by NASCAR. Both sides are dug in, though. They had discovery last week. Nasty texts and emails from one side to the other. Michael Jordan basically said, I don't care how much money I lose. Okay? I don't care. I'm fighting this to the end. USA Hockey Hall of Fame, Joe Pavelski, Zach Parise, Scott Gomez inducted USA Hockey Hall of Fame. Atlanta won in the WNBA last night, and Angel Reese called out her entire franchise. She says, we suck. Okay, I'm tired of us sucking. If we don't get really good players in here next year, when my contract's up, I'm leaving. She said, me and one other player are the only two players, okay, that definitely should be back next year. She said this about her team. Apparently, they had a team meeting before the game. They went out and won by 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. So at
maybe that'll help sell some more shoes for.
Yeah, maybe. She had a double-double again, like 18 and 13. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting five. 5 big stories, and everybody on this team, except for that one over there and me, suck here on Miller and Moulton.
Well, we announced it. We said we were going to do it, so now we are obligated. It is time for Miller and Moulton to help you pick other teams to win in the National Football League. Predictions sure to go wrong.
Guaranteed.
Next. No doubt. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It shouldn't be. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but EB, the Clippers are saying that they did not control that company's business and how it was run, and that company, whatever they did on their own, and that they were defrauded out of the $50 million investment, just like other companies were defrauded by them. And that basically, if they paid Kawhi that much money to do nothing, that's on them. It's difficult to believe. I mean, why would the company pay someone $28 million not to do anything? But
By the way, I did not hear that spot, so I don't know which one ran. The Shoeless Show, so I apologize.
No. I was just, I know sometimes when, you put them in and they catch, they don't catch. The system, system can run an old spot. So that's all.
I don't know what happened in that second break. I looked up and I'm like, I don't know if spots of ours didn't run. Like because I'm doing crap. I just wait for.
No, I know.
I hit the button. It's like
I wait to hear the music. I heard the music. I looked down. I went, wow, we're 2 minutes early.
And then the commercials are when I flipped it over, and I'm like, what? I thought they were screwed up, and I'm like, then I'm looking up. I don't know. I don't even know what happened.
I don't either.
In fact, I'll make a note here.
Well, the company's out of business. I doubt you're going to get anybody from the company to say anything.
And Adam, to a certain extent, yes, I do. Because the buyout's huge. He's not going anywhere now. They don't have that kind of money.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this NFL Thursday.
NFL Thursday.
Eagles hosting the Cowboys in 13 hours. Philly now an 8.5-point favorite. Micah Parsons worth a lot, according to Vegas, which not sure he's worth that much point-wise, but anyway, Philly better. Not sure that it matters. We'll see. Dak Prescott back after missing half of last season. Philly, Dallas, 8:20 Eastern kickoff tonight on NBC. Make your plans accordingly. All right, JP Shadrick in 35 minutes. We'll talk a little Jags. Fascinating opener with Carolina. Both teams seemingly needing it desperately because, well, they're both lousy and they need wins. And
Jacksonville needs it more.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't care what anybody. It's not because we're in Florida. It's not because this show's on in Jacksonville. Jacksonville needs it more. Carolina's still in rebuild mode. You know, even getting rid of Thielen there, you and I don't understand that. He was a really productive receiver for them. That didn't make a lot of sense. They'll grow as the season goes on. I think Canales did a nice job turning the path of Young's career around a little bit last year. But come on, this is a big season for the Jags, in my opinion. It really is. And for Trevor Lawrence.
Scheduled daunting early. That's why this Carolina game at home jumps out as like, boy, you better get this one. I do think the Jags will finish the season strong, but it's time to make our season picks. Who makes the playoffs? Who doesn't? And then what happens when the playoffs start? Do you need more time?
No, I'm done. I do not. I will say I do not have any records next to team. I'm not bothering trying to get the proper number of wins and losses this year. I'm just not doing it. Call me lazy. Not the first time it's been said about me, but I'm ready. I have 3 new playoff teams.
I have 5. 3 in the NFC, 2 in the AFC. Begin wherever you'd like.
AFC East. Why don't we start there?
Buffalo, New England, Miami, and the Jets is how I have the division going 1 through 4. I have Buffalo as the 1 seed in the AFC. I think their schedule is the softest of all the elite teams in the AFC. And I think they're the only team with a winning record in the East. I have the Patriots going 8-9, Dolphins 7-10, Jets 6-11. Mark?
I have really hemmed and hawed at the Dolphins, and I bet the under a while ago, and I'm not taking that back. But I have the Dolphins finishing second because I just don't think the Jets and Patriots have done enough to overtake them. I would not be surprised in the least bit if it was some sort of 8-9, 7-10, 6-11, 8-9, 7-10, 7-10. But I am like you. Not only do I have the Bills winning the division, I have a 1 next to them. They will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. To the north,
Bills have done a lot of winning. They've never been the 1 under McDermott and Josh Allen. Miller and Moulton, for the record, say Buffalo this year, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC will go through Orchard Park in the final year of that stadium. Does that stadium have some last year magic in it? To the north,
I have the Ravens winning the division. They will be the 2 seed. Sunday determines the number 1 seed in the AFC because I think the Bills will win the opener against the Ravens, and that's going to be the difference between who the 1 seed is and who the 2 seed is, and that is the Ravens. I have Cincinnati finishing second in the division, and they will be a wild card team. I have Pittsburgh third. They will be a wild card team, and the Browns finishing last.
I have the same order. Ravens win the division with 12. Bengals are a wild card with 11. I have Cincinnati as the 5 seed, by the way. I have the Steelers at 9-8 and missing the playoffs. Pittsburgh needs a win the final Sunday of the season at home against Baltimore, and Baltimore ruins their lives and ends Aaron Rodgers' career. I have the Browns at 4-13. The Browns with one of the top 3 picks in the draft.
AFC South. Houston is your winner. They are the 3 seed because that division is weak. I think that, much like the AFC East, will only have one team with a winning record. It will be the Houston Texans. It will go Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. And none of them will have winning records. And then obviously none of them will qualify for the postseason.
A lot of agreement here. I have Houston winning the division for the 3rd year in a row with 11 wins. I have them as the 3 seed in a tiebreaker with the AFC West champion. I have the Colts with a winning record and being the 7 seed.
Ooh, that means they win on Sunday.
I have the Jags with 7 wins. I have Tennessee with one of the top 3 picks in the draft at 4-13.
I really spent a lot of time breaking down the AFC West. And I thought long and hard about picking Denver to win the division. It may be time, but time could be next year too. At the end of the day, I can't pick against Patrick Mahomes. I just think it's a bad idea. I think Denver's got a great roster. They've improved damn near everywhere. The defense is elite. Will the quarterback continue to improve at the level needed to win the division? I say no. In fact, I think Kansas City and Denver finished the season with the same record, but Kansas City's your division winner. Denver is the 5 seed. The Chargers are 3rd, but miss the playoffs, and the Raiders finish last in that division.
I agree with Mark. The Broncos and the Chiefs finish with the same record, but the Broncos win the tiebreaker. The Chiefs run out of gas at the end of the year. They beat the Broncos on Christmas night to be the front runners in the West, only to lose in Vegas and then lose early in the playoffs. Denver wins the division. They're the 4 seed. Chiefs go 11-6. They're the 6 seed. Chargers 8-9. Raiders 6-11.
All right. NFC East. Philly repeats. They're the class of the NFC. They're the class of that division until proven otherwise. Washington will finish 2nd, but miss the playoffs. Dallas 3rd. And the Giants will be fighting the Browns and the Saints to see who's on the clock.
Eagles win the division, but they won 14 last year. They win 11 this year. 11. They're vulnerable in a couple spots. I hope they don't get injuries in those spots. I hope Saquon can stay healthy for another year. He hasn't had 2 healthy seasons back-to-back very often in his career. Same, I agree with you, Mark. Washington 9-8, lose out on the playoffs in a tiebreaker. Washington and the Eagles play 2 of the last 3 weeks of the season. That's very interesting. Keep that in mind.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That in mind. I have the Giants finishing ahead of the Cowboys. I think it becomes an absolute grease fire in Dallas.
By the way, I have Philly as the 1 seed in the NFC. In the North.
Hold on. I have Philly as the 2. Giants 7 wins, Cowboys 6.
Wow. All right. In the North, I have Detroit winning the division. I did this not because I'm from Michigan and have a soft spot for the Lions. But I was looking at something that either the Score app or the Athletic did where everybody was picking the divisions. And everybody had Green Bay except for one person. There were like 12 panelists. 11 had Green Bay winning the division. 1 had Detroit. I just think they're going to be wrong. I don't think it's possible for Detroit to take that far of a step back. They'll win fewer games. They will be a 3 seed, probably like a 10-7, 11-6 division winner. Green Bay will be a wild card. They will be the 5 seed. Minnesota, 3rd place, but they missed the playoffs, as do the Bears.
All 4 teams are winning records in the North. Lions are the 1 seed at 12-5. Packers make the playoffs. They're the 5 seed with 11 wins. Vikings and Bears both go 9-8. Both miss the playoffs.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are your 2 seed. They win the South again. Atlanta comes on strong in the second half. They get the final wild card spot. They're the 7. Carolina will be better than New Orleans. Like I said, New Orleans, Cleveland, the Giants. That, to me, those are the first 3 picks of the draft.
New Orleans, Cleveland, Tennessee. New Orleans, by the way, with the first pick of the draft, they go 2-15. Tampa wins the division, makes the playoffs for the 6th straight year, 5th straight division title with 10 wins. They're the 3 seed. Atlanta is the 7 seed with 9 wins. The Falcons make the playoffs. Carolina goes 6-11.
And in the West, I hemmed and hawed for probably 3 days on this division. And someone has to win it. San Francisco, because of the schedule largely. Look at the Niners' schedule. They've got an opportunity to win double-digit games. Stafford's going to miss some time, but they make the playoffs. Give me San Francisco as the 4 seed, the Rams as the 6 seed, then Arizona and Seattle.
Mark and I are completely opposite on this division, which is good because neither one of us has any inkling what's going to happen.
Not a damn clue. Not a damn clue.
I have Seattle winning 10 games again. Last year, they missed the playoffs going 10-7. This year, they win the division with 10 wins. Arizona grabs a playoff spot with 9 wins. The Niners, Mark, yes, soft schedule, soft roster, 8-9.
Look at you.
And I am worried about Stafford, okay? He's never had a training camp in a long time. There's something's up here. And without him, yeah. 7-10, Rams finish last. So my new playoff teams in the NFC are Atlanta, Seattle, and Arizona. Commanders, Vikings, Rams from a year ago missed the playoffs. There you have it. So Detroit, Philly, Tampa, Seattle, Green Bay, Arizona, Atlanta.
I have Atlanta and San Francisco as new teams. I go Philly, Tampa, Detroit, San Francisco as the top 4, Green Bay, LA Rams, and Atlanta as the wild cards. In the AFC, I go Bills, Ravens, Houston's Chiefs, and then Denver, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, your new playoff team by my account.
I have the Bengals and Colts, the 2 new playoff teams in the AFC. Steelers and Chargers miss it from a year ago.
When we come back, we will then tell you what happens in the postseason, according to Miller and Moulton, on predictions sure to go wrong on today, the beginning of the NFL season.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right. God dang it all. I realized why the wrong spot ran. It was my fault. There's a way when I put the new spots in the system that I can just have it replace the old one.
Right.
I put one too many zeros in the cart number. Instead of 90,004, it was 900,004. So that's on me. I didn't turn my mic off either. So there you go. I'm having a hell of a morning.
Joe, is your last name Jesuit, or did you go to a Jesuit school? If you don't mind me asking. And if you do, you can tell me what to do with that question.
Yep. Sonny just said that, but thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And thanks for listening, watching.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. JP Shadrick to talk Jags coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Miller and Moulton on this first day of the NFL season, unveiling our picks, predictions for the 2025 NFL season. Last segment, if you're just joining us, we told you how the regular season was going to play out. To review quickly, I have the Eagles, Lions, Bucs, and Seahawks winning their respective divisions. I have the Packers, the Cardinals, and the Falcons as wild cards. That means 3 new playoff teams in the NFC for me. Mark, your picks were?
2 new teams in the NFC. I go Philly, Tampa, Detroit, San Francisco, with Green Bay, the Rams, and Atlanta being wild card teams. That makes San Francisco, Atlanta, new playoff teams, Washington, Minnesota out.
Quickly, in the AFC, I have Bills, Ravens, Texans, and Broncos, your division champions, with Bengals, Chiefs, and Colts, your wild cards. That means Cincy and Indy are your 2 new teams. So I have 5 new teams, and both Miller and Moulton have the Bills as the 1 seed. Your AFC picks again were?
Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs as division winners, and that's the exact order in seeding 1, 2, 3, 4. Denver is your 5 seed, Cincinnati your 6, and reluctantly I went Steelers 7. I didn't have the heart or the courage to pull the trigger on either the Chargers or the Indianapolis Colts. They were probably my next 2 teams.
So you have the Bengals replacing the Chargers as the only difference in the playoffs in the AFC this year. All right. How will the playoffs unfold? Mark, have you given it some thought?
I'm done. I've got it all written down. It is ready.
All right. Go for it.
Baltimore, the 2 seed in the wild card weekend, will face Pittsburgh and they will win. Cincinnati will upset Houston, and Denver will beat Kansas City in a 4-5 game at Arrowhead.
Wow. So they lose to them on Christmas night, second to last game of the regular season, but they return the favor in the playoffs. Look at you. I have Baltimore beating Indianapolis in a 2-7 matchup. I have Houston ending the Chiefs' reign in Houston in a 3-6 battle. Texans outplayed them for large portions of that playoff game last year. They really did. Okay, ultimately they couldn't handle the blitz, and they didn't cover Travis Kelce, which is really not a good idea. And I have Denver beating Cincinnati at Mile High, if you will, to set up Buffalo versus Denver, 1 versus 4, and Baltimore versus Houston, 2 versus 3. And I have Buffalo and Baltimore meeting for the AFC Championship.
As do I. I have Baltimore playing Cincinnati and winning, and I have Baltimore beating Denver to get a week 1 rematch in Orchard Park, where the Bills will win again, and the Buffalo Bills will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
You said the Ravens twice. So do you have the Ravens beating Denver or
The
Buffalo?
Ravens beating Denver, Buffalo beating the Ravens. Sorry, I have Buffalo and Baltimore both winning. Buffalo beats Cincy, Baltimore beats Denver, and then Buffalo will beat Baltimore in the AFC Championship game.
I believe the Ravens have the best roster in the league. I believe the Ravens are a better team than the Bills, particularly in late January. I love how big and physical the Ravens are. And Buffalo, to me, is a little on the small side. I do think the Bills are going to win week 1. I think the injury to Lively, also an injury not being talked about. Ravens fullback may not play. Don't know if Baltimore is going to be able to go as much power as usual. So I think Buffalo wins season opener. Ravens win the AFC Championship game. Baltimore goes to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. If they did that in Buffalo, that would just be such heartbreak for the Mafia. All right, NFC. I have the 2-seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating Atlanta. I have Detroit beating the Rams, but I have Green Bay upsetting San Francisco in the wild card round.
I have Detroit as the 1, so they get the bye. I have Philly beating Atlanta. I have Tampa Bay beating Arizona. And I have Green Bay going into Seattle, the 5 beating the 4, to set up Detroit, Green Bay, and the Eagles and the Bucs in the division round.
Same 4 teams for me, but different oppositions. Philadelphia will beat Green Bay, and I've only been saying it since June. Tampa Bay will beat Detroit, which would give you a Philadelphia Tampa Bay rematch because they play early in the season for the NFC title game.
I have Detroit beating Green Bay at home. I have the Eagles beating the Bucs in Philadelphia. I have a Lions-Eagles NFC Championship game in Detroit.
And I have Philly hosting Tampa. And I'll be damned. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into Philadelphia and win. Buffalo versus Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl.
The Lions go to their first Super Bowl. The Lions win the NFC Championship game at home. The Ravens and the Lions in Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco or Santa Clara or whatever.
And the winner of that game, in my estimation, between the Bills and the Bucs, the Bills finally get their Super Bowl. All of the agony from the 4 straight losses, all of the crushing playoffs defeats, and the final year of the stadium in Buffalo, they will celebrate mightily. The Buffalo Bills are your Super Bowl champions.
I have the exact same Super Bowl that I picked last year. The Ravens and the Lions, a pair of 12-5 regular season teams. And Lamar Jackson gets the monkey off his back. The Ravens win over Detroit. So Miller and Moulton. Mark's got Buffalo beating Tampa Bay. I've got Baltimore beating Detroit. So we both have the champion coming out of the AFC. Look at you. Is it the red shirt? I mean, you said for months Tampa to the NFC title game. Now you went off the cliff.
I did. And what's interesting, David, I'm really looking at my AFC predictions and NFC predictions. I picked against the teams that I think have the 2 best rosters. Like, I think Philadelphia and Baltimore have the 2 best rosters in the league. I really do. But there'll be a little Baker magic. And I just think it's the year for the Bills. Sometimes everything has to go right for a team where so many things have gone wrong for so long.
So the Lions, in my opinion, finally get to a Super Bowl. Lamar finally wins his.
So there you go.
Yep.
21,000's the number where you can destroy any part of the picks that we made.
Or all.
They're on record.
Right.
Trust me, we will revisit them at some point. I mean, much like I picked Alabama to play in the SEC championship game, losing week 1 to Florida State doesn't bode well for me.
You know how we have that week 1 stat? Teams that win week 1, how many make the playoffs? How many? Of my 14 playoff teams, I have 11 of them winning week 1. The only 3 teams that I have losing week 1. Ravens. All right. Packers. Falcons.
JP Shadrick. He will talk to us about the Jags and their season opener against Carolina next.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
So
details.
I asked him at Floor Meisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floor Meisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floor Meisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floor Meisters, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hi, JP.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for accommodating me early today.
Oh, thanks for doing it when you've got other things going on. With all that we pay you, I mean.
You ready?
For?
The season, you know. I know,
Oh,
although you're started. By the way, what a terrible game you opened up with, huh? Notre Dame, Miami. What a
Yeah.
tough game to call that must have been.
Yeah, they at least after the first quarter they got going a little bit, which was nice. It was good at the end, and I think Notre Dame's still going to be good though.
I like
think
that
they're good
quarterback in the second. I mean, I thought he got better the whole game. That kid looks
Yeah.
like he can play a little bit, JP.
Yeah, and uses his legs a little bit more than I thought they might, but hey, he did what he had to do to get him back in the game.
He got rocked a couple of times too in the
did.
second half. I mean, he got hit and bounced back up.
Yeah.
So did the joint feel like it used to feel at a Canes game? Was the
It was pretty good.
joint was alive, wasn't it?
It was pretty good. Our booth is right behind the student section, so
There you go.
all those kids got bussed up for the game. I guess they have a bus system or whatever. It brings them.
Right.
They were locked in, man. It was pretty fun. It's a unique place when they're good and into it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty nasty there. It's good in a good way.
were you ever at the old OB?
Never got there.
God,
Never got there. Yep.
one of the greatest dumps of all time.
Uh-huh.
Just awesome.
Uh-huh. Yep. Went to Legion Field a bunch, which
There
is
you go.
another great dump of all time. But
Now, did you go before they fixed it up? Oh, wow.
oh yeah. What's another good dump? I went to Cleveland Municipal once for a baseball game.
Oh,
that was
did
that was a classic dump. The Oakland Coliseum.
Yes. I think I was there for the second to last Raiders game. What a dump.
I went in 2012 with the Jags, and the hot water didn't work in the locker room for some mysterious reason after the game. Wink, wink.
Right. There was sewage that was visible. Okay, I went into the press area where they had the rat. I didn't see the rat, but they're like, "Oh yeah, right there. That's the hole." Golly.
I remember somebody during an A's game tweeted a photo of the raccoon peeking its head out of the ceiling in the press box. You know, which is hilarious. What's another one? You know, Penn State's pretty kind of like that, but they're fixing the press box now. So
they are.
That looked like the inside of a submarine. I mean, it was like the stairs go up. It's like lead paint and straight up and down.
Well, also they had the asbestos. I mean, it was like being in the 1960s and 70s, going to school. I mean, it had the asbestos.
Yeah, that was cool though. I like that. I like that stuff. You know, we don't have enough of that now. Everything's so.
We have none of it. Everything's new and sparkly. When you walk from third base to first base at Fenway, you realize what an old stadium looks like, where the corridors get so damn narrow you can't get through.
Yeah.
I loved having to leave Candlestick walking down the right field line, to get out. Teams had to walk out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these old SEC ones are like that, though. The old Big Ten ones. Like, you go inside Ohio Stadium, not the new parts. It's that old place is still there, and then you got, Bryant Denny underneath. It's a bunch of iron I-beams and stuff. It's just what it is. And those are in the 20s.
Imagine that, a bunch of iron.
But I think we're ready for Sunday. I'm ready for Sunday. I don't know if they are. I am.
Well, that's what's important. I mean,
got that right.
You can only control one person.
I was going to say, if they may go 6-11, but you're going 15-2, buddy. I mean, that.
I'm getting a first round bye. I don't know about anybody else.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Thrilled to be joined by JP Shadrick earlier than normal on an NFL Thursday. Normally, he will join us at the top of the bonus hour, which is 9 a.m. Eastern. But it's been a busy week for all of us. JP's got stuff to do. He says, hey, I got to go earlier. Like, fine, we're 4 hours. We can fit you in. Follow him on X at JP Shadrick, Shadrick. JP's already got a game under his belt. He called Notre Dame and Miami Sunday night. So first off, before we get to the Jags, welcome. And secondly, your thoughts from what you saw Sunday in Miami.
Well, I think we found out that, yes, Miami can retool quickly in the transfer portal, as can a lot of teams. But there's something about this, that the guys that they have at Miami right now, and, veteran receivers who played a lot of football that are now in their third school. And then there were a couple freshmen that made plays. Tony is a guy, he's a freshman from right up the road, one of those, state of Miami guys. You lock the door at I-4 and don't let anybody out. And I don't know if it's quite those days anymore, but same idea. He's from right there, and he makes like 6 catches in the game and a touchdown. And going into the game, it's like, who is Carson Beck going to throw the football to? Who are these guys? There's like 3 transfer guys, a bunch of freshmen. And we found out pretty quick who they are and who they can be on the offensive side, and that was pretty fascinating to see. I also still think Notre Dame's going to be okay. The freshman quarterback fought him back, took a bunch of hits in the game, used his legs when he needed to, especially on the key touchdown, just the draw up the middle and made the play. And that's big time stuff on the road in an environment like that, which was a real environment. So a fantastic start to the season. Couldn't ask for much more.
You know, going into the season last year, Miami was supposed to be great at both sides of the line of scrimmage, and their defense ended up not being worth a damn. How impressed were you about that side of the ball for the Canes? Because I thought they did a really good job of what we know is a good offensive line for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, that Reuben Payne's there. I mean, that guy, he's really good. I mean, those guys are fantastic. I mean, he goes all the way to the sideline on a 3-time tip ball to make a play. So he's got the athleticism to run to the sideline and the willingness to run to the sideline. And they've got just some other big guys up there making plays too. It is – I don't know how – let's see how it grows on the defensive line for them as it goes. They've got a good start under their belt because that is a good Notre Dame offensive line, guys who've been around. And don't discount the other side of things for Miami too. That offensive line is going to carry them a long, long way, I think. All those guys are veteran players. 3 of them are truly homegrown. One's a community college guy and another's a transfer, and that's the center who's played a lot of football. Both sides of the lines in the trenches, if you have big guys who can play, you can compete, as we saw up the road in Tallahassee the other day. Could be an issue for another school that we all know.
Yeah, because they have big guys who certainly did not compete at the level that many were expecting. All right, let's talk Jags. New coach, Travis Hunter. Trevor's going to be different. What are you buying? Obviously every team's got change. Every team's got new stuff. Every team wants to sell X. What is it about the Jags that in the last 6 to 8 weeks you go, you know what? I could believe what we're selling about this.
I am buying the Cohen-Lawrence experience. I am buying that relationship. And I'm buying, I'm buying the fact that they've worked all offseason together. Trevor Lawrence, has now his 3rd different voice in his ear since he's been here. Why would this one be the one to trust? Well, I mean, he has to. The clock's ticking. It's his new contract. He basically got 2 years to figure it out. However, the approach is different, I think, just from an age perspective, from the position perspective, the way the offense is going to be installed. Okay, I like what I see and feel and hear out of those two. Now, we'll see after a couple of weeks if we still feel the same way, but it has the makings of a pretty good combination. And, be it with the footwork, everything in the offense, the transitions, everything to the in where there was all that goes into it. But I think there's some positivity there and some real positivity, not the fake positivity that in hindsight you can go back and see pretty quickly. I think this one feels better than it has in the past, at least going in. But hey, I also like what I hear from Liam Cohen too. He's a realist. He's like, hey, we have to go see what this team does. We can coach it up and do a lot of things. They've got to go execute it as well. There's only so much I can scheme up. Players have to go do it, and that has to be bought into in the locker room as well. And it feels like there's some of that buy-in on that side also.
The Cohen-Lawrence experience. It sounds like it's a laser show at the planetarium that we're going to watch with Pink Floyd music playing in the background. Yeah, but let's hope it's a little better than that. All right. Not a lot of changes to this team. Travis Hunter, obviously the big addition, but, they lost Ingram at tight end. So how is the offense going to run? Is it a run-first offense? Do they plan on getting ATN a little bit more time early? When you look at this offense in that Cohen-Lawrence experience, how's this offense going to work in your estimation?
Well, when you start the record at the second Lions roar on the video, then you can time up everything for the Pink Floyd laser show, okay? So start with that.
Will do.
I think it's going to be a run. I think it's going to be a lot more run than you imagine. They have 4 running backs on the roster, and I think there will be times that, hey, they might have 4 up, depending on the other guys on doing special teams things and work them in different situations here. I think that's what they want to do. I think that's what Liam did last year in Tampa, and I think that's a good way to get things at least established early in a new offense. I don't think they want to throw it 50 times, 55 times. I don't know if anybody really wants to throw it that many times. They'd be, they wouldn't admit it if they thought the other way. So I think it's run heavy, but I think you got to take some shots when you have them, right? And they've got the players down the field to do that, and Brian Thomas Jr. and De'Ami Brown, and then Travis Hunter will be in the mix certainly, and go from there. But I think it's Etienne and Bigsby. One's going to have to start the game, and then who knows what that means for the rest of the game. But somebody will be out there for this first snap and get the official start. Who knows who that is on a week-to-week basis. Right now it's Etienne or Bigsby, so do the math on that.
Week 1, we always put a little too much importance into it. But, I mean, if you can't beat Carolina at home, doesn't that just – the players, obviously, they'll go back to work and all that, but the fans will stagger into the parking lot and they'll be like, oh, man,
Dave,
really?
You have lived in Jacksonville for too long now because you are so tuned in to the Jaguar fan experience, part of the laser show. I mean, it is exactly what I think most people are thinking right now. Like, Carolina – this team 2 years ago, when they were failing and didn't have a quarterback and were blowing it to miss the playoffs, shut out Carolina 26-0 2 seasons ago. Shut them out with Bryce Young in there. Trevor Lawrence was out of that game, and the Jags were stinking it up down the stretch and still shut them out. So that's where a lot of people remember Carolina right now around here. But you know what? They're saying the same thing in Charlotte today. On whatever radio show is on in Charlotte right now, it's clearly not as good as this show, but they're saying the same thing about the Jaguars. About these guys stink, and they've got another new head coach and all these changes in personnel. So you got to go get past it and play the game. But there's no must wins this early. They need this win because the next 6 weeks,
you're right.
There's a lot of really good football teams on that schedule. They're all good football teams in the NFL, but to have this one in the back pocket, boy, that gives you a little more leeway.
Cincinnati, Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City, Seattle, and I forget the 6th one, but that's
Rams.
what follows.
Rams
and the Rams.
London.
And that's what follows after Carolina. And Mark, I kind of feel like we're talking up going to the Electric Light Orchestra. Is that what's after this interview? Going to see an ELO concert?
Don't know. We'll check the telephone line on that one. All right. Couldn't help it. But you mentioned it, the early games, and I know the Rams games in London, but 4 of the first 6 at home before the London game, and Carolina, which is a very winnable game. Look, you're right. Every team it's an NFL team. You can lose to anyone. It's hot. It's still summertime here. These are things that should help the Jags. And if you're right about that running game, they can set a few teams up. I mean, at the end of the day, Liam Cohn's got to figure out a way for this team to run the football because that's going to make Trevor Lawrence better, right?
Yes. I mean, you don't Trevor Lawrence said yesterday in the press conference that, yes, he is really confident in what they've done on the offensive line, the guys they brought in up front, and the depth there if something is to happen as the season goes along. He liked the fact that they were rotating guys in all training camp just to see who could work where. So if his confidence in that group is real, in theory, he should have more confidence to stand in there and make throws down the field and not tuck tail and run or, throw it away early or make him, all that. When you have the running game to balance all that, here we go. So that's why I think it's run game, and then let's see if they can get ahead of the sticks a little bit and then balance out the offense.
I think this season will end on a high note. I just don't know if it will get off to a good start. I look at the schedule. It's softer in the second half of the season. I do think Cohen is committed to running the football, which I do think will help Trevor and it'll help the defense. I just wonder, JP, can this group, outside of the coach, the GM and the coach, they can handle a 2-5 start. I'm just curious, can the room handle a 2-5 start?
Well, if the past is any indication, then no, because this group has proven that they haven't before. It's also not the same group. There are a handful of guys, key players that are still around, but they have churned out a lot of those players that they felt like weren't part of the mission moving forward. So, new group, new approach to them. Let's see how. And Liam Cohen said that too. As we said, he's a realist. He understands that you just don't really know what you have until you roll the ball out there and see it a few times. You can practice and scheme and do all these things you want, but when the old Mike Tyson saying, you always have a plan until you get punched in the face. So you're going to get punched in the face. It's the NFL. How do you punch back? And we don't know that yet for this team. It's just a little too early.
What percentage of plays does Travis Hunter play?
Did you ask me this last week, or was that somebody else?
It might have been me. I don't know, but I still think with Hunter, it's the most relevant thing. And we've got 130 plays roughly in a game.
I know. I'm messing with you. Mark,
that's
relax. Mark, I know it's early. I got you.
I'm not that smart. Sometimes I have to ask the same damn question, Jim.
It's okay,
The
Mark.
question! The question, you jerk!
Answer the question. I think, well, if you're going off depth charts, which these are unofficial, as is the yellow line, he's a starter on offense and a backup corner on defense. I don't buy that for a second. I think it matters. It can change week to week. I think this week he's probably going to play. He'll play both ways. I bet you he plays 70% of the plays total in the game, 60 to 70, to get his toes wet. See what happens.
By the way, for those that don't know, that's a John McEnroe at Wimbledon 40 plus years ago. I wasn't
because most of the references on this show are 40 years old.
Right. I mean,
I'm the one still in my 40s, but that's okay.
Right, exactly. But even JP knows the reference, okay, even though, JP's not as big, during the Reagan years as some of us on the show are.
Oh.
Have a good weekend. Thanks for your time. Be safe, be well. And Jags pre and post, JP Shadrick, part of the Jags Radio Network. Be well, my friend.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you again next week. 1:00 Sunday, a cat fight at the bank. The Panthers and the Jags. Can't wait.
I'll have a new Travis Hunter question for you next week. I promise.
You can ask that every week, and
I might. In fact, I think I'm going to.
Just lead the interview every week with.
Right. We may just cue it up. Mark may just press a button.
Just hit it right.
And keep your answer. Did you ask me that last week? Keep that as well. JP Shadrick, Westwood One, Touchdown Radio Network, Jags pre and post. Follow him on X at JP Shadrick, SHADRICK. Roy Cummings to talk the Buccaneers next. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller & Moulton sent you.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, Installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Roy.
Morning, guys. How we doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I am good, thanks.
I think your Cubs have pretty much locked the playoff position.
Well, I hope so. I think so, too. I think they're in good shape there. Would still like to see if they could give the Brewers a bit of a run, but they'll need help with that, obviously.
Yeah, that I think that ship sailed. But I don't think if they're the 4 seed, they're in an awful spot.
No. I think they're in good shape. I think they can beat anybody, including the Brewers. I just don't understand. I mean, man, they're in a star on that team, outside of maybe Christian Yelich, and boy, oh boy, they just keep finding ways to win ball games.
But they're going through a few injuries too to their bullpen right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you know, we were talking about like I literally can't remember a time where I don't think there's a favorite out of the 12 teams that make it. Like I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite.
Totally agree. Totally. I mean, some of the best teams are wild card teams. I mean, look at the Yankees. I mean, do you think the Blue Jays are going to go this deep or go that deep? Record says they should, but boy, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and we were talking yesterday because David's a Mets fan. I'm a Tigers fan. The Tigers have 2 starting pitchers with a winning record.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
Casey
well
Mize
for the playoffs.
I totally agree. I mean, they've been trying to patch that together for a while, all season long, really.
I'll say this, though. I think it's important for the Phillies to be the 2 over the Dodgers. One, without Wheeler, I think they need to not play an extra playoff round. And 2, the Phillies at home are awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers win the 3-6 series. Okay. The Phillies starting at home against the Dodgers will probably get off to a very good start in that series. I do think it's important for Philly to be the 2.
Yeah, totally agree with that. The Phillies are a team that they seem a bit vulnerable. I mean, they go through stretches where they just can't seem to figure out how to win, and with so many lefties in the in the rotation, that's a little tough.
And they can win the World Series, though. It's so wide open this year.
Yeah,
it's so wide open.
Yeah.
But I can literally see a team sweeping the wild card, us being all high on them, and them getting swept in the next round because it's just so volatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this NFL Thursday.
NFL Thursday.
We are 12 hours away from the Eagles hosting the Cowboys as 8.5-point favorites on NBC with Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. Roy Cummings joins us at this day and time. He covers the Bucs, Bay News 9, and he's covered them for us for over 20 years. You can follow Roy on X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. Roy, we made our season-long picks an hour ago, all right? And while we will recap all of the picks coming up here in 20 to 30 minutes, Mark, can you tell Roy how you see the NFC playoffs ending?
With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Philadelphia and winning the NFC Championship.
Wow.
I have been high on the Bucs since June. The Wirfs injury concerned me, but it looks like he's going to be back a little sooner than expected. His backup there, that's a big role for the first couple of games before Wirfs gets healthy. They get Philadelphia at home. They've played the Eagles tough. I look at the Bucs as a team, and the one thing I like about them is they're not scared of anyone, and that starts with Baker. I think they're the best team in the NFC heading in. I think the Eagles have the best roster. At the end of the day, I think the Bucs are going to get them in the playoffs.
I can't argue with that. Look, I think the Bucs have proven they can beat the Eagles. Certainly. Look, there was just a poll that came out a couple days ago. I can't remember if it was ESPN, NFL Network, forget who did it, but it was 8 executives, anonymous, and they basically picked the Bucs 4th overall in the NFC. And a couple had them 3rd, a couple had them 6th, but of these 8 executives, the median came out to 4. And, the belief is that they only have one real weakness. That's the secondary. And I think we all know that if Hassan Reddick is healthy and can, get a little bit more push from the defensive front, maybe the secondary gets a little bit better. I mean, they showed an ability in the preseason, at least, a lot of the backups, to take the ball away. So, that's where the greatest weakness is. Look, I still think you can pass on this team. I'm going to believe that until they show me that you can. But they can keep up with anybody on the scoreboard, I think. So, yeah, I am not shocked by that pick, Mark. I think it makes sense. I think it could happen. I think there's every reason to believe that can happen, that history can repeat itself, and that the Bucs will go to Philadelphia and win the NFC Championship against the Eagles right there. And boy, what a rivalry that's become, and it'll be even better if they can do it again this year.
I was going to say it'd be shades of 2002 all over again. But the Bucs have made the playoffs 5 straight years, and they've won 4 straight division championships. Tough not to argue that this is the best stretch in franchise history.
Yeah.
Can they beat the Falcons, however? They've proven they can play with and beat the Lions, the Chiefs, the Eagles, etc. But can they beat the Falcons?
Yeah, that's a great question. Couldn't do it last year. But look, here's what I'm doing if I'm the Bucs against the Falcons. I am blitzing Penix repeatedly. Here's a kid who probably is in a position he's never been in before. It's opening day. How's he going to look? Going to be a little nervous. I think you still got to treat him a little bit like a rookie quarterback and just go after him and see what he does under pressure. Can the Bucs get the pressure? I don't know. We'll have to see. But look, they're a better team than the Falcons, just as they were a year ago when a lot of people suddenly, for whatever reason. Here's the thing about the Bucs. Up until this year, no one's believed in them. Outside of their building, not even their fans really believed in them as much as they believed in themselves. And, they kind of took everybody a little bit by surprise. Certainly Baker Mayfield did. Nobody believed in him. But now everybody believes. Now everybody understands, Mike Evans, gee, you know what? He just might go to the Hall of Fame. Chris Godwin, great player. General Manager Jason Light, he picks good players. There's weaknesses, but overall it's a really good team. And I think you underestimate this team at your own peril because they can beat you in a lot of ways. And I think they'll continue to show that through the course of the season. And, but can they beat the Falcons? Well, without Tristan Wirfs, without Jalen McMillan, it's dicey, but I think they can do it.
Well, it's dicey for Atlanta, too, because their right tackle, Penix, a left-handed quarterback, is out. His backup is out. So while Wirfs is gone for Tampa, they have just as many tackle problems with the Atlanta Falcons. To your original point, Roy, whether it's Reddick starting out with the bang or blitzing this young quarterback, I really think Bowles is going to throw a lot at him to protect the secondary that you talked about. Hey, London's a terrific receiver. The tight end's never proven anything at the NFL level. Bijan Robinson's excellent coming out of the backfield.
Yeah.
When you look at the defense, we both think they're going to blitz, but they're a little banged up. Vita Vea's banged up starting the season, which sucks. When you look at them stopping Bijan Robinson and the running game, are they prepared to be able to do that?
Well, to me, that comes down to what you have right behind the front line, and it's the linebackers, and I still think they have that. I think they're deeper there than a lot of people believe. I like what they've got back there. Anthony Nelson's done pretty well. Benjamin Morrison's played well. Look, the safeties are active. If Antoine Winfield can get downhill a little bit, I think they should be good. But, you point out what to me is the key to this game, the primary key to this game. Which team can run the ball better? I think that becomes the key to this game. Is it the Falcons with Robinson? Is it the Bucs? Which by the way, I will say it today, I think the Buccaneers have the best running back room in the NFL. I know this is a passing league, but if things aren't working with the passing game, they can go to that running game, and I think they can execute it better than anybody. I think the line is fit for it. The running backs are deep. They're talented. They do a lot of things. And if it's not working early with the passing game, or if you feel like, just Baker's off, whatever reason, whatever it is, injuries at the receiver position, I think they can turn to the running game and beat just about anybody and wear the clock down that way.
All right. Yesterday, seemingly out of nowhere, Vita Vea appears on the injury report and misses practice. Apparently, it's a foot injury. Obviously, anybody's foot injury is a big deal. But when you got big, heavy men, okay, you get very concerned about hearing a foot injury. When should a Bucs fan get worried? If he misses practice again today, or is Friday the key day? How many times does he have to appear on the practice field this week before a Bucs fan goes, blank?
Yeah, I would say the answer to that is 0. You can still get him in the game on Sunday if he's healthy enough. He knows what he's doing, knows his role as well as anybody. Doesn't need the practice as much as a receiver running routes does or anything like that. Look, Vita Vea is doing one thing. He's going straight ahead all the time. He's clogging up the middle. He doesn't have to move a lot. My guess is that whatever the injury is, you're right. What worries me is, this is what this is the kind of injury, we don't know much about it, so I'm kind of speculating here. But anytime it's a foot, you're right. You got 300 plus pounds
Right.
that weighing down on that. Depending on what kind of foot injury it is, is it a turf toe? Is it did he break a bone? Hockey players, as you guys probably know, I'm sure you do, when they have a foot injury, the boot, the skate, is enough support that they can usually play with it. Now, is there a way to create that kind of support with a football shoe? Tape it up enough? My belief is there probably is. I think he ends up playing, unless it's something that they fear will get worse the more he puts pressure on it. The get off and things like that. That's the biggest key. Can he get off? Can he get his? Can he propel himself? If he hurts it doing that, then that's an issue. And again, we just don't know, and we won't know really until Sunday. My guess is this is, although I may find out, we may find out tomorrow, but I would think that he would be a game day decision. Even if he's not a game day decision, that's what the Bucs will say, just to keep the Falcons guessing. But I got to think Vita Vea is going to try to get out there and play.
You talked about the running game, but last year it was the passing game of Atlanta that destroyed the Bucs. Plus 30 points in both of those games, but it wasn't Penix. It was Kirk Cousins who threw for 300 in one game and like 500 in the overtime game. When you look at, you've already mentioned their pass defense worries you. How do they slow down Atlanta, who was very efficient throwing the ball a year ago against the Bucs?
Well, that's where the change from Cousins to Penix helps the Bucs, in my opinion. Kirk Cousins knew exactly where every hole in that zone was. Think Drew Brees, where the guy knew every window that was going to be open, no matter what zone you threw at him. He knew what window would be open. Same with a blitz. He knows exactly where the hole is going to be that he can exploit. That's what Kirk Cousins could do, and it's what he did repeatedly. He didn't have to be real mobile because he knew exactly where to throw the ball. Penix probably won't be as savvy with that. That will help. But what concerns me about the secondary overall, no matter who the quarterback is those windows are there, and they're there a lot. When you blitz, as we all know, you leave something exposed. Someone is not covering somebody somewhere. And a good, smart quarterback, which I think Michael Penix is, can expose that and exploit that, take advantage of it. And I think that's still a problem for the Bucs because you know what? We saw third-string quarterbacks do it this preseason. Granted, against backups, but is Zion McCollum gonna do a better job than Tyrek Funderburk about covering that zone? Probably not, because if you're blitzing, you're going to leave something open. So that's what concerns me. Is there are moments, far too many of them, where it's far too easy to throw against the Bucs and get big chunks of yards down the middle between the numbers. I don't like that.
He's Roy Cummings. He covers the Bucs for Bay News 9 and for Miller and Moulton. You can follow Roy on X, R Cummings FHCN, R Cummings FHCN. Literally 5 seconds. How many regular season wins for the Bucs?
I was thinking about it this morning. I'm going to say 10-7. They're that good.
Roy Cummings joining us once again. This day and time is when we talk the Tampa Bay Bucs with Roy Cummings here on Miller and Moulton. We will recap our season-long NFL picks next.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service. at the best prices. Floor Meisters. FloorMeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Left Twix, let me ask you, is it Tampa or is it Green Bay?
I think so. I think you're absolutely right, Left Twix. There's no doubt that there is a lot of Tampa Bay love in the NFC right now. It started with me, and obviously everybody listens to the show and they jumped on the bandwagon.
Right.
But I think you're absolutely right with that assessment. I did put a poll question up, David. I put a poll question up a while ago if you want to retweet it.
Was it the red zone one?
Yeah. We've just had, since I put it up, we did our picks. We did JP.
Right.
We did Roy. So we haven't really had a chance to even bring it up.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. If you're just joining us, JP Shadrick joined us early last hour. Normally, he joins us on Thursdays in the bonus hour at 9 a.m. Eastern, but JP has stuff to do. So we had to move him up. We just had a regular segment with Roy Cummings, so we talked a little Jags and a little Bucs. Yesterday, we had Chris Perkins on to talk Dolphins. If you ever miss any of our interviews, go to millerandmoulton.com, and download what you missed. We will recap our season-long NFL picks coming up here shortly, but first, poll question. What do we go with?
The red zone has added commercials. No longer will you get 7 hours of commercial-free football. Now that ESPN is the owner of the red zone, they're going to make money, and they're going to do so with advertisements. So we ask you, will you watch less of the red zone now that they will have commercials? More of the same, 32%. Less, 20%. But 48% of you say you never watch the red zone. That was interesting to me. We've kind of neglected it because we did our picks. We had JP on, we had Roy on, so we've not really talked about the poll question much. I retweeted it. David did the same moments ago. So you can go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Before we recap our picks, David, we received a text. 21,000 is the text line. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text the keyword Miller, MILLER, to 21,000. Then you are behind the gate, and you can text as much as you would like. But, David, we received this text. Do you ever use ChatGPT, by the way?
Never.
I use it all the time. I find it a lot of fun. A lot of different things. I actually used it for the show the other day. We had to send a clock to our new affiliate in Tampa, and I had no clue how to make a proper pie chart, and went to ChatGPT and said, how do I do this in minutes? And bang, got it out. New clock for Miller and Moulton, sent to the affiliate in Tampa, bada bing, bada boom. So I find it helpful for a lot of things, as I'm guessing many of you do as well. But someone looked up Miller and Moulton on ChatGPT and wanted to know our estimated annual earnings and our net worth. It gets funnier. Estimated annual earnings. If we assume Miller and Moulton are making between $100,000 and $200,000 annually each from their radio show. I mean, this is hilarious.
Oh, my goodness.
Their combined income could be in the range of $200,000 to $400,000 per year. With other revenue sources like syndication, sponsorships, and podcasting, they might be closer to the $500,000 to $1 million mark annually if the show has a large national following.
Stop it. Please. Please stop.
Net worth estimate based on potential income, and assuming they've been doing this for a number of years, likely a decade or more, which is all true, their combined net worth could be in the range of $1 to $5 million. This estimate includes their media-related earnings, personal savings, and any investments. Now, let's get to the important paragraph in this whole Chat GPT. This is their out. Again, this is a rough estimate, no blank. And by rough, I mean U.S. Open 6 inches deep rough.
I mean walking on hot coals barefoot rough, but okay.
Right. This is a rough estimate based on industry standards and available information. Industry standards, my ass.
And no
we need
offense.
more insight into their contract sponsorships and other personal financial details. I love the person that sent this to us. They literally sent the text with saying that I asked ChatGPT some things about Miller and Moulton, and I want whatever ChatGPT is smoking.
Very early, before you and I were Miller and Moulton, and I think you were still with the hockey team, and I was doing solo. And I think I was even middays. I think I was still doing local TV in the afternoons and evenings in Southwest Florida.
Noon to 2, David Moulton.
Hello. All right. I can't tell you part of the lineup that I was a part of, but it was anyway. A guy called in and said, "What do you make?" And I said, "Well, I won't tell you, but I'll let you guess. And if, you're close, then you know what? I'll give you credit for it and I'll share that information." And Damon Amendolara was actually producing the show at the time, who's gone on to be a national host, and he is making the Chat GPT money and has been for a while.
Yes, he's been on CBS. Last I knew, he was on CBS Radio doing a national show. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't follow him as closely as you, because I never worked with Damon. I know him, but never worked with him.
And so I said, tell you what, feel free to guess what I make and what young Damon here makes, who I think at the time was like, I don't know, 22, 23.
Yeah, making $20,000 a year, maybe.
And so this gentleman says, well, you do television as well. I go, yes,
right.
I do. Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. And he goes, so you do TV and radio? Yeah. Uh-huh. I go, feel free, put them together, separate them, whatever you want. And the guy guesstimated in the early 2000s that I made $700,000 a year.
And if you took a zero off of that, you may have been close.
And that is exactly what I said to him. I said, sir, if you take a zero off that, you're still way high. Way high. All right. But I didn't tell him.
If any of you wonder, and some of you get mad at me, there's someone who gets pissed off at me that I bring up sponsors and want more sponsors for the show. It's our damn lifeblood. We own this show. Miller and Moulton employ Miller and Moulton, which is why last night at dinner, when my wife told me she has to do a self-evaluation for work, I immediately text David and said, for the betterment of the show, I think we need to do this as well.
And I agreed, and we will do it live sometime next week. On the show, we will self-evaluate Miller and Moulton. Miller and Moulton have said we think it is very important for teams, individuals, organizations to self-scout and be realistic about it.
We do it in college football more than anywhere. Know who you are.
Right. And so before I disclosed that he was just a little high, just a little bit, okay, just a bit outside, I said, tell you what, sir, before we go any further, how much do you think Damon makes? And Mark, you're right. I don't think Damon was making 20 grand in salary.
I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it. Maybe with some of the appearances.
Live remotes. Right.
Yeah.
Right. We were trying to, quote, take care of him. All right. And so he said that Damon, and I go, he's, quote, just a producer here at the station and, is like assistant program director and what have you. And he goes, okay, $250,000. And I just on the air said to Damon, if we take a zero off that, is he about right? And he goes, nah, still a little high. I said, okay, all right. There you go,
which
sir.
is why for 20 years, we have had many of you that are listeners approach us at different places, together, separate, whatever, and say, hey, my kid wants to get into this business. Do you have any advice for him?
Yeah.
And our answer every time is yes, do something else.
Run. Right. It's and obviously chat, we have to have a consultation, I guess, with Chat GPT.
There is no doubt whatsoever. But if you want Miller and Moulton to make that kind of money, Miller's the key word. We need you. We need more floor meisters. We need more American Paint Supply. We need more sleep treatment directs. We need all of you. Glass Doctor, bring it on. Shoeless Joe's. I mean, come on, Jimmy the Beef Guy. We need our listeners to support our sponsors, and hell, we could always use more sponsors. Prediction sure to go wrong. Couldn't help it. We'll do that next on Miller and Moulton.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
So I
sound.
asked him at Floor Meisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floor Meisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floor Meisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floor Meisters. FloorMeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, I blew that going into break right there because that was the perfect time to say, you're listening to the $1 Million Show, Miller and Moulton.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, millionaires both.
Wow. Wow, Despicable D, just coming right at us. You take your Domino's pizza and you It's amazing. We went to, and I won't name the place because I don't want to be that mean, but my wife and I have a place we go to a lot. We like it. They have a bartender there who is sensational. Great bar awareness, very nice, polite, works fast, does a good job. They have another bartender there who sucks, who just sucks. We happened to go there last night. Bartender B was working, not the one we like. And it's ironic because it was a Wednesday night and there's no one at the bar. And when she's working, the bar is usually 70% full. And it's like, the place is, it's middle of the road to nice. He's not bright when you listen to him speak. Like, I don't think she's going to win a Rhodes Scholarship, but she has common sense. She gets it. He just doesn't, and he's loud. And I'm like looking at this place going, this guy's been working here a long time. Why? Don't get it. Like literally, there was 4 to 6 people at the bar. Usually there's 10 to 12. It's like, do the math. It's Wednesday. It's not a Monday night.
Yep.
No, you're right, Skip, but good wait staff have common sense. They don't have to be rocket scientists. Like we went to this pizza joint I like, Little Sicily. Horning's in here. He's been there. Great spot for pizza. I like Uncle Rico's better, but Little Sicily's damn good, and you can sit down there. We were there a month ago, and I asked, because they didn't have Miller Lite on their menu, and she said, I think we might have it. She brought me a Miller Lite. I was ecstatic that I didn't have to drink Coors Light. Came back a month later, ordered a Miller Lite. She looked at me and she goes, you're a bottle baby, right? You don't want a glass. I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Left Twix, we make enough to get by. And we love this. This is fun. I know David would love it more if we were doing 2 to 6 in the afternoon, but we enjoy this. We think we're reasonably good at it.
10 to 2 would be amazing, but
10 to 2 would be amazing. I mean, we earn a living, but not nearly what we feel we should earn. But to be brutally honest, and that's why I pump the sponsor things, we've got 5 open slots right now. If we were to fill those, David and I would be doing cartwheels, because then we'd actually make some decent money. Left Twix, if I knew, we'd be doing it, brother.
yeah, Sonny, who are you going to give it to in the National League, if not him? I mean, somebody can steal it in the final month, but I think Zach Wheeler would have won it if he had stayed healthy.
Who else is out there in the National League?
Right.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton, which airs in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and Southwest Florida, Fort Myers, and Naples. This is the final segment in Port Charlotte and Venice, in Lake City and Live Oak and surrounding areas. Thanks for being with us on this NFL Thursday.
NFL Thursday. Sorry, I'm a day off. I only do football Friday. This is a new one for me.
Well, and it is. I kind of sprung it on you, and of course, without talking to you about it. So we're 11 hours and 40 minutes away from kickoff. Eagles 8.5-point favorites against the Cowboys.
The show worth between $1 and $2 million. Miller and Moulton back on the air.
Right. Miller and Moulton, millionaires both. According underneath, did we just put the S with an asterisk and underneath in very small letters? According to Chat GPT.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. All right. We made our NFL picks in the 7 o'clock hour. We will recap them for you now. We won't go through all the detail, but I have as the bottom 3 teams in the league, the Browns, the Saints, and the Giants. I don't have Tennessee there, largely because I don't think their division's very good, and they may have the 4th pick. I just don't think they'll have one of the first 3.
I have the Saints on the clock with a 2-15 record. I have Cleveland and Tennessee 2-3.
My division winners in the AFC are the Bills, Ravens, Houston, and Kansas City. They will have the same record as Denver, but they will win the tiebreaker and therefore be named the division champs.
I have Bills, Ravens, Texans, Broncos. Denver wins the West. First team to win the West, not named the Chiefs, since 2015.
So Denver, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh are my 3 wild cards in order.
Cincy, Kansas City, Indianapolis are my wild cards.
So Cincinnati is the only new team that I have making the playoffs in the AFC.
And I have Cincinnati and Indianapolis as the 2 new teams in the AFC.
In the NFC, I have Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Detroit, San Francisco in that order, winning their respective divisions. The Eagles, the 1, the Bucs, the 2 seed.
And like we had agreement 3 out of the 4 in the AFC, we agree on 3 out of the 4 in the NFC. I have Eagles, Lions, Bucs, Seahawks as the division winners. I have Detroit as the 1, Philly as the 2, Tampa as the 3.
My wild card teams in the NFC, Green Bay is your 5 seed, the Rams are your 6 seed, and the Atlanta Falcons are your 7 seed, making San Francisco and Atlanta new playoff teams in the NFC.
Like Mark, I have the Packers the 5 and the Falcons the 7. I have the Cardinals as a surprise 6 seed, which gives me 3 new teams in the NFC making the playoffs: Atlanta, Seattle, and Arizona.
And then we get to the playoffs, where I have Baltimore winning at home against Pittsburgh and 2 road teams winning the AFC in the wild card. Cincinnati will beat Houston. Denver will beat Kansas City in the 3rd matchup of the year.
First round AFC playoffs, I have all 3 home teams, Baltimore, Houston, and Denver, winning.
In the NFC, I have Tampa, Detroit, and Green Bay as a road team winning. Tampa Bay and Detroit taking care of business at home.
I have 2 of the 3 home teams winning. I have Philly and Tampa winning, but I have Green Bay going into Seattle and getting a W.
Not championship weekend, divisional weekend, Buffalo and Baltimore will be your winners. Buffalo will beat Cincinnati. Baltimore will beat Denver. In the NFC, Philadelphia will beat Green Bay, and Tampa Bay will beat Detroit.
I have the top 2 seeds in both conferences winning at home in the divisional round. Detroit beating Green Bay, Philly beating Tampa Bay in the NFC, Buffalo beating Denver, 2nd year in a row, Baltimore beating Houston for the 2nd time in 3 years in the divisional round.
So if you're listening, we have 3 of the 4 teams that are exactly the same in our championship weekend. David has Detroit. I have Tampa Bay. We both have Buffalo and Baltimore playing one another. I have the Bills representing the AFC to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Super Bowl.
And I have Detroit hosting and beating Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. And I have Baltimore going into Ralph Wilson Stadium, the final game in that stadium, and delivering more heartache for the Bills. So the regular season begins and ends for Buffalo and Baltimore in Buffalo. Buffalo will win Sunday night. Baltimore will win in late January.
I have Buffalo winning both of those contests, taking on Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl. And finally, Bills fans, you did it. The Buffalo Bills are your Super Bowl champions.
And finally, the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl. However, the parade is in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson gets the monkey off his back, and Baltimore wins Super Bowl 60 against Detroit.
So there are your predictions, sure to go wrong. Miller and Moulton
Baltimore for David. Buffalo is who I am picking to win the Super Bowl this year. 21,000 is the number where you can tell us just how stupid we are. The keyword's Miller if you've never texted the show before.
Over the last 12 years, the number of new playoff teams from year to year has averaged nearly 6. 5 3/4 has been the average over the last 12 years. On only 2 occasions in the last 12 years have there been less than 5 new playoff teams. So if you're chalky in liking who made it last year and thinking they will make it this year, you may be right, but you'll be bucking the norm. Last year was one of the 2 years out of the last 12 that less than 5 teams were new that made the playoffs. Last year, we only had 4 new teams. 2015 was the other season when we had just 3. But to give you an idea, 2 years ago, 2023, 6 new playoff teams. In 2022, we had 7 new playoff teams. And the others, yeah, Mark?
I was going to say, by the way, we don't really do a lot of this, but my guess is, based on what you said and predicted, your MVP's got to either be Lamar or Josh. I mean, they're the 1 and 2 seeds, unless you're going someone from the NFC, which seems highly unlikely. I mean, to me, if the Bills are the 1 seed, then Josh Allen's my MVP.
Well, they gave it to him last year when they could have given it just as easily to Lamar and what have you. So, yeah, there's a chance he goes back to back. I mean, I don't care about that stuff.
But,
I know. It'd be nice if someone who's not a quarterback could actually garner serious consideration for the MVP. But
last year Saquon did. I mean,
yeah,
he did. I mean,
right.
So it's there.
Yeah.
But the league has changed in what they think from an award standpoint. I mean, it's a quarterback award. It might as well be most valuable quarterback, not most valuable player.
There's also a stat as to how teams perform week 1, and it seems to be a tell as to who's going to make the playoffs and who is not going to make the playoffs. And this is one of the more surprising stats that's out there. Before the NFL went to 14 playoff teams and 17 games in a regular season, the stat held up every year. Sometimes it was even more, that 50% of your week 1 winners made the playoffs. That turned out to be 8 out of 16. And only 25% of your week 1 losers, 4 out of 16, would make the playoffs. That would be the average breakdown in terms of week 1 and the outcomes, and then what the end of the season standings look like. The last 3 years, for what it's worth, 42 playoff teams, 29 of the 42 were week 1 winners, and only 13 losing teams have made the playoffs the last 3 years. Last year, the week 1 ratio was 9 winners to 5 losers making the playoffs. The 2 years before that, 10 winners to 4 losers making the playoffs. So still fairly dramatic, not quite by percentage as dramatic as it was, but still pretty darn dramatic.
And when you look at some of the week 1 matchups, obviously, we're focused a little bit on the game Sunday night with the Bills and the Ravens. That's a loser that I think all of us think makes the playoffs. Like, both David and I have both of those teams in. We both have Detroit and Green Bay in. We both have the Bucs and Atlanta in. So that means of the others that lose, we don't have a lot of wiggle room, David, for losers week 1 in, the weird game. The Bengals losing to the Browns. Why? Because, the Bengals lose against the Browns a lot in Cleveland. Burrow only has, one win against Cleveland, David?
Correct. In Cleveland. In Cleveland. Burrow's been the starting quarterback when they've won there one time during his career. But think about the last 2 years. Cincinnati lost at home to the Patriots last year. Missed the playoffs by a game. The year before that, they started the season losing in Cleveland. Cleveland, by the way, remember Joe Flacco coming off the couch, having the nice year? Cleveland made the playoffs. Cincinnati finished 9-8 and missed the playoffs.
By the way, with that stat that Burrow's won just one game in Cleveland, how tempting are the Browns plus 5.5?
To me, not at all. But I hear you. I mean, if you go by track record, trends, totally. Here's another one for you. The Bengals, under this coach, 1-7 the last 4 years in the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, that's why the Bengals did things totally differently this training camp and preseason, because the numbers are just glaring. And so they said, well, maybe there's something to it. Maybe we should do things differently. And Mark, to further your point, I don't have, you mentioned Bucs, Falcons, Lions, Packers, Bills, Ravens. Yeah. The two of us have all 6 of those teams making the playoffs, so it doesn't matter to us who wins, who loses. But, Mark, I literally did my NFC West standings based on who I thought was going to win the Niners-Seahawks game week 1.
Well, and the other game I didn't bring up, Houston's at the LA Rams. Those are 2 teams that most everybody thinks are playoff teams.
And I like the Texans because I think the Rams are very banged up to start the season. Not only that, under McVay, Rams also get off to shaky starts. They've had 1-4 and 2-5 starts here recently and have ended the season very strong and made the playoffs both times. Most teams don't do that.
And while you're reasonably high on the Seahawks, you're right. They host San Francisco week 1. And the Niners are a 2.5-point road favorite in that game.
Yep.
That may be a tease to David's Fantastic 5 that started out with a bang last week. And by a bang, I mean it blew up in his face.
0-5. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nothing bothers the two of us more than that. It really doesn't. The rest of the stuff, whatever. We put a lot of time and effort into it. We want to be right.
Yeah. We just want to go 3-2 most weeks.
That's it. If I went 3-2 the whole season, I would be ecstatic. Ecstatic.
And I'd be fine with a few 2 and 3 weeks thrown in. I really would. I don't need 4-1, 5-0, but I really need to stay away from 0-5.
It's hard to begin a season that way. You need a lot of 3-2s.
Right.
To make up for the 0-5.
Right.
Miller, Moulton, and Lee Sterling all off to suspicious starts. Lee 2-4. I went 2-3. David went 0-5. The bonus hour. That's next.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. You got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports, in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I put the tennis on last night. I know my wife likes tennis. She started rooting. She was into Osaki there. She was all rooting for her. She was all in. She likes her. All because of that breakdown when everybody booed her when she beat Serena, and Serena came to the mic and defended her.
Michael, here's why. Because ESPN has the rights to the U.S. Open. And the men's final on Monday gets in the way of Monday Night Football. And they do extensive pregame. They can't run the risk of the tennis match, a 5-hour, 5-set final. They can't run that risk. So that's part of the reason why, plus, I mean, Michael, for those of us of a certain age, this tournament always ended on Sunday. CBS would air a 1:00 NFL game, and then NBC back in the day always had the 4:00 doubleheader game because CBS aired the men's final at 4:00. With Pat Summerall, by the way, missing the first 2 weeks of the regular season to broadcast the tennis. Very touching goodbye to Cliff Drysdale yesterday. Drysdale will call his last match in a 46-year broadcasting career for ESPN tonight. I think he has the 7:00 women's semi. By the way, it is interesting that both Osaka and Anisimova, who played last night in the quarterfinals, have to play the semis tonight. The other two played the day before. I mean, there's no advantage for one over the other, but Puck, do you mean two TVs in the same room? I mean,
Yeah, but two TVs next to one another, I think, is what he's
yeah,
saying.
I don't. I've never had it. I mean, I got 4 TVs in this place, but they're in 4 different rooms.
And I will have 3 in my living room on Sunday. I won't on Saturday because there's not 3 games at one time worth watching. There just is not. What a dreadful Saturday.
Yeah.
It really bums me out, too.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour on this NFL Thursday. The Eagles hosting the Cowboys 11 hours from now on NBC with Tirico and Collinsworth. Miller and Moulton, we made our NFL season-long picks. Whew, man. I have 18 teams with a winning record. So, Mark, I have 4, 9, and 8 teams missing the playoffs.
You have 8. That is so bat blank crazy. And it's one of the reasons I didn't get into the records, because I think all of us are guilty. Maybe not if you're just about one team and you hate everybody else. But when you look at the league at a whole, you try to be positive.
Yes.
And I don't know, for the last few years, we've been sitting here going, there's going to be 3 teams with a winning record that don't make the playoffs in the AFC because you're going to need 10, maybe 11 to make it. That's never the case. It's not. There's usually a tie at 9 and 8 to get into the postseason.
Now
and yet we sit there and have these lofty expectations for teams. But I don't think there are as many teams, sorry, David, as with last year we had Detroit, we had Minnesota, we had Philadelphia. I mean, we had some gaudy records. I don't see that this year.
Right. In the NFC last year, Detroit with 15 wins, Philly and Minnesota both with 14 wins. I mean, for that matter, Washington with 12. I mean, to have 4 teams with 12 or more wins in the conference last year was whew. But, Mark, we had 2 teams with winning records last year miss the playoffs. We had Seattle lose out in the NFC West tiebreaker last year at 10-7 and miss the playoffs. Because think about it, your wild card teams were a 12-win Washington, a 14-win Minnesota, and an 11-win Green Bay. And you had the 9 and 8 Bengals. So you had 2 teams with winning records last year miss out on the playoffs. But yes, when I sat down and did my thing, and you're right, I'm probably bat blank crazy because I have 18 winning teams and 14 losing. Now, you have to admit, going forward, the number could get a little distorted because of the odd number of games, 17 games. You can't have an 8 and 8 anymore.
Right.
So you got to, 9, 8, 8 and 9. Like last year, we had, a few 8 and 9s. Arizona was 8 and 9. Atlanta was 8 and 9. Miami was 8 and 9. Indianapolis was 8 and 9. So, I've got a few of those teams this year winning one more game.
People throwing their Super Bowl predictions at us throughout the show, laughing at some of them. I wish I could, and I probably could just go back to this date. It's not that easy. But I would love to go back because somebody's going to be closer than we are, and they're going to let us know.
Oh, sure.
Come January. The good news is I don't delete anyone's text. So if they say it and they said that they gave us that, I can scroll down and say, when?
Right.
When did you say that?
Right. Yeah. Fortunately, the service we have, they keep all your texts. So, Mark literally knows if you text us earlier in the show or if you haven't texted us since February.
So that I have a ball with your predictions as well. Ours are just as crazy. You know just as much as we do when it comes to this. Don't buy into people claiming to be so-called experts on what's going to happen during the season. David last year, the thing I will give him the most credit for, and I don't even remember who all your picks were, but I do remember you said that the Washington Commanders, now you had them missing the playoffs,
Correct.
but I think you had them winning 8 or 9 games last year. You saw a big turnaround, roster, schedule, everything. You were high on the Commanders before the season began.
And I have
that's a leap.
And I have the same type of feeling about the Patriots this year. I don't think they'll have a winning record. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But, how many games did they win last year? 3? 4 tops. I have them winning 8 this year. That's a pretty big turn. Patriots went 4-13 last year. By the way, an injury that's not being talked about a lot, like the Jets just lost arguably their best offensive lineman for the year.
By the way, that's why I didn't pick the Chargers to make the playoffs. A team that wants to run the football first, invested in the running game, and you lose one of the best left tackles in the game for the season, that makes me worry. Tampa, I don't have the same worries. Wirfs is coming back in a couple of weeks. But when you start losing offensive linemen for the year before the season starts, that's troubling to me. None of us think that much of the Jets to begin with.
But I think it means that the Jets, it's good news for the Patriots, good news for the Dolphins. That the Jets, without their best offensive lineman, they already don't have a number 2 receiver. I'm not sure about their depth behind Breece Hall at tailback. They don't have to have a lot go wrong here for them to all of a sudden be not good again. Instead of being that salty 7-10 team, on the come, okay, a couple more injuries at the right spot. Unless you think Justin Fields is the answer, he's finally going to get his chance, blah, blah, blah. Ooh. I think it could go wrong quickly for Aaron Glenn in New York and not be his fault either.
So we've got Glenn, we've got Ben Johnson, we've got down in Dallas there, we've got New Orleans.
Brian Schottenheimer, right? New Orleans, we got Kellen Moore. Mm-hmm.
And who's the other first? Isn't there one more first-time first-year head coach? There are new coaches.
Liam Cohen in Jacksonville.
Liam Cohen.
Right.
Who wins the most games out of those guys?
Ooh. Okay.
I say Liam Cohen.
I say Ben Johnson.
I think Jacksonville will win more games than Chicago.
I think Ben Johnson, even though I think the Bears finished last. I am in a tiebreaker with Minnesota, so they might win it and technically be third. It affects draft position and your schedule for next year in 2 games, but
it is fascinating to me. The Vikings, one of the teams I'm most interested in, and you'll get to see them firsthand on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the Vikings who we believe, both of us, from a roster standpoint, really improved.
Yes.
From a year ago.
Yes.
Their offensive line is better. They made some key additions there. Defensively, I think they're a little bit better. I don't know of anybody that likes their coaching staff more than Miller and Moulton. Between Flores and O'Connell, we like both sides of the ball a lot.
A lot. Yeah, it's all about the quarterback. Now, they'll miss the number 2 wide receiver the first 3 weeks of the year. They will. There's no doubt. But, in theory, they should be able to, if he plays the other 14 games, they should be fine. But it's all about JJ.
And last year, most every rookie quarterback delivered.
Could argue
Usually there's one that doesn't.
Could argue the guy in Chicago had the worst year of the rookie quarterbacks who played, even though Penix only played 3 or 4 games. I mean, people came out of those games. Atlanta lost them those games because they couldn't stop anybody. I mean, Penix had no problem moving the ball, scoring points last year. Atlanta couldn't stop anybody. It's a very sexy week 1, and not just because it's the NFL and the NFL is sexy, therefore all weeks must be sexy. But for as much as we're going to complain later on in the year when there's a week or 2 that we think is soft and we're going to go, they played too many division games week 1 and 2, playing those 14 division games so early when they didn't need to. And that's why this schedule's not as meaty as it should be. But between the division games, Mark, and then the pretty intriguing non-division games, even 2 teams we don't have high expectations for. But because we don't have high expectations, boy, what would a win mean for Carolina or Jacksonville Sunday? How about the non-division matchup between 2 division winners a year ago, Houston and the Rams? I mean, the Texans are talking the talk. Now, no one nationally is outside of, I think, Ryan Clark's the only one to pick them to get to the AFC Championship game. But Houston is going, why are you guys so in love with Denver? Have you not paid attention to us, our roster, our additions? Why are you so high on Denver and not us?
And their weapons if they stay healthy. The one thing I will say, where's the running game in Houston?
Agreed.
Where's the running game with the Texans? Mixon, he's nuts. I don't know how much he even plays this year, and I don't know if he's any good anymore.
Well, I think he's good when he plays. I think he's very good when he plays. But you're right.
Well, look at the last half of last year and look at his numbers, David. They were so mediocre. I know you're going to blame that on the line, but they were dreadful.
No, I'm going to blame
mediocre. They were bad.
I'm going to blame it on, I think he played hurt also. Okay. I'm willing to throw a few shekels on that he played through injury. But yeah, also, Mark, when running backs hit a wall, it happens very quickly with running backs. And who knows, maybe Mixon, hit the wall in November of last year and he ain't going to be Joe Mixon ever again. I'll tell you what, Houston, I think tailback 1 is Nick Chubb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. What a story. How great would that be?
It would be, but goodness gracious. It's tough to trust the running game with the Texans. That's my worry. I think, first off, Denver's got a better line, and Denver, regardless of who their running backs are, going to have better years than what goes on at the Texans. Now, I like the Texans' receivers better. Denver's defense, I think, is better.
I do think there's a couple teams I could see if Houston needs a running back. You can get a running back before the trade deadline. You can take a running back off somebody's hands. I got to be honest, if you're Houston, you sure you don't call New Orleans about Kamara? Try to figure out something with that salary. You take this, I'll take that. I mean,
well, and then where does it go south? If it goes south for the Dolphins, do you call them and try to get Achane? We all know teams are going to be well below expectations and then be willing to perhaps move guys.
And I could see the Bucs needing a corner, and you can get a corner in late October. You can get a corner at the deadline. You can. Some guy's on a losing team, he wants out. You can get a corner. So there are a couple teams I think maybe the trade deadline plays into it for. Houston and Tampa being 2 of them.
And we've talked about this for a while. The league is coming to Miller and Moulton. There are more moves at the deadline. NFL GMs, younger, more willing to take a chance midseason than ever before. Miller and Moulton.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or NolanAgency.com.
Well, I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, Installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Cortec. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't know if I've ever posted restaurant food. I've posted food I've made. Will say I've got the pulled pork kind of down on the smoker. Pretty solid. Thanks to my buddy Jim Blinko and his mop sauce recipe, which is just outstanding.
Tonight?
No, I did that on Monday.
Oh,
at
okay.
barbecue. Now it takes too long to do it during the week. And you got to pay a little attention to it while it's going on. About once an hour, you got to spritz it, David.
I think, Mark, we could all use a good spritz once an hour.
Damn right. I got to get to Grandpa's. I haven't had a Grandpa's pizza in a long time. I got to go see Giuseppe. He's a good dude.
The Bonita guy?
Yeah, he's a great dude. I may stop in there today. I got to go down to Bonita for something, so I may swing in there.
Can never go wrong. Just pop it in.
Oh, I don't even eat. Sometimes I go there and sit there for a half hour and never order food. I just sit at the counter and talk to him during lunch. I mean, because first off, it's so old school. The first thing he does when I see him is he tells me 2 to 4 jokes that are all not sufficient to work. I mean, not close. They are jokes that you could have, basically they're jokes that Buddy Hackett was telling on Carson in the 70s.
Hello.
Then the fact that he speaks 3 languages blows me away, because Italian's his first language, so Spanish came easy for him. He'll be talking to his wife in Italian, me in English, and then answer the phone doing it in Spanish with a Spanish customer. I'm like, well, that or Latin customer, whatever. That blows me away. And then we got to talk Steelers for a while. I'm very curious his take.
There you go.
Because I think like that optimism thing was way down. Is it Tomlin or is it Rodgers? I think it's a little of both. Like I've had texters send to the show. They just sold their soul to Rodgers. That's not the Pittsburgh way. When Tomlin basically has said this deal was done in June, I knew he knew we were fine with it.
Well, also they're only paying him $13 million. They didn't sell their soul.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts. At least one pick, maybe more, coming up on Miller and Moulton. I want to bring up 2 football things. We touched upon them earlier. Maybe have a couple minutes here to go in further detail. I do want, and I'm not trying to help this network out in any way, but I think the first reaction when people found out late afternoon, evening yesterday, or maybe they heard it this morning on this show, that the red zone's going to have commercials, that a lot of people then went, there it is, ESPN ruining something else. Because there's a lot of negativity towards ESPN these days. For the record, ESPN may own it. The NFL runs it. This is the NFL adding commercials to Red Zone. It is. They 100% control what goes on Red Zone. So that's one thing. I mean, you want to say, screw them, the commercials, I ain't never buying it again. That's fine. Just know it's the NFL's doing, it's not ESPN's.
Do you think that there was any influence from ESPN to start doing that? No?
No.
Okay.
I actually,
I mean, because I want, that's almost to me part of, and you're probably right, but my counter was going to be, that's like the Big Ten saying that they run their own conference.
Well,
and that Fox doesn't.
I think it's very different. I don't think anybody tells the NFL what to do. And I mean anybody. Outside of maybe once or twice the President of the United States. I don't think, I'm willing to bet everything I got, there's not a network who tells the NFL what to do about anything. Anything. Okay? It's not quite the Masters relationship with CBS. Okay? But Mark, I don't know how far from it is.
Okay.
I mean, but
I'll lean to you on this. You're a lot more closer with network people than I'll ever be.
But also, I thought the NFL, remember, the NFL last year started to do split screen and what have you. So they were toying with this last year, long before this whole ESPN buying of it and all that. But let me ask you this, and it's our poll question today, by the way, commercials on Red Zone, is that going to impact you watching it, buying it, less, more, not at all? That's our poll question.
The fact that half of our audience claims they do not watch the Red Zone at all was surprising to me.
I actually, Mark, think if you and I were ESPN executives, we would be, I believe, sitting down to the NFL going, no, we want you to go the other way, to be honest with you. We want it to be commercial free. Okay, we just want people to pay for it. That's all. No. Did you see, by the way, this is a tangent? Did you see the team that is following in the Falcons' footsteps with
Meaning what?
concessions?
No, I did not. Okay, I didn't. Well, you said following in the Falcons' footsteps. I mean, having a bad defensive line, not being able to use your tight end. I mean, there are so many different ways I could go there. I didn't know you were talking about the concessions. And David was all over this from day one when the Falcons and Arthur Blank lowered their concession prices to the lowest in the league. It was met with an unbelievable response from their fans. They've only led the league in concessions every year since he's done that.
I think the Ravens are the team.
Okay.
I had it saved, and now I've lost it, and this bothers me. But, like, I don't think there's anything they're selling for more than $5. Okay? $4.99 beer. All right? Hot dogs, a little over $3. $2 pretzels, $2 popcorn. Fries are a little over $3. Sodas are $4. Okay? The Ravens have gone the Falcons road with concessions. Let's see how it works. I think it'll work big.
By the way, sponsors are all in to the NFL, as if you didn't know that. But NBC has sold out 90% of its NFL inventory outside of the Super Bowl before the season has begun. And the Super Bowl has already been sold out.
And they can't get you to watch almost all of their other programming on that network. They can't. There's very few shows on that network that you guys are watching.
I will say, don't ask me why, but in the last week or so, the wife and I, when we're done with the U.S. Open and kind of going to bed and throwing the TV on, I didn't realize this revival of the game show on network television because I don't watch network. I watch sports. Right. I really do. I watch sports and shows on streaming services. But the match game's going again?
Uh-huh. Had to get a new host because Alec Baldwin was hosting it, and then he, was
Right.
involved in that shooting. That'll really hurt your
And he killed
image.
a guy.
Well,
or a girl.
He didn't, but,
But yeah, Martin Short now hosting
Right.
match game. There was another game show on, this 1% show. I happened to leave the house and come. My wife's like, "What do you watch?" I got no idea. I left the TV on. Another damn game show on.
Mark,
They must be cheap to make.
Bingo. Very cheap. And you can film a whole week in a day. That was the beauty of Wheel and Jeopardy. Vanna's still working. Pat worked one day a week. They tape all 6 shows. They just tape them. Done. Steve Harvey does Family Feud. Takes them all in a day. You could tell which ones are early in the day and which ones are late. By the end, he's like, these families suck. We'll see you next time. I digress.
But yeah, the primetime game show. How much I love Match Game. And they are openly drinking on Match Game.
Yes, they are. Going back old school.
They're going back to their roots.
They are. One other thing I wanted to mention. We talked about this in the starting 5. The unbelievably terrific college football ratings from week 1. Highest rated week 1 game ever, Texas, Ohio State at 16.6 million, peaked at over 18. These are big numbers. I mean, these are not NFL numbers, but for college, because like a 425 time slot in the NFL does 22 to 25 million. But this is a big number. I mean, the semifinals last year only did slightly more than this, I believe, in college football. 3 other games drew over 10 million people: Notre Dame, Miami, Bama, Florida State, LSU, Clemson. Does that, remember, it's a TV show. The networks run this. Ohio State, Texas was Fox. The other 3 were all ABC. One a Saturday afternoon, one a Saturday night, one a Sunday night. do you think, Mark, that this leads to maybe conferences? Come on now. Conferences pay attention to this. Labor Day weekend, look at all these eyeballs. Why? We put a good matchup together. Do you think this will lead to better early season matchups or no?
No. I think what leads to better season matchups is teams with good schedules getting in ahead of teams that didn't schedule. Alabama getting in over Indiana next year. That will help this more than, because the committee, if they're going to pay attention to strength of schedule, okay, we'll see.
So you think Texas, Notre Dame, Alabama, Clemson, the four losers of these big viewed games, if one or more of them wins like a tiebreaker at the end of the year, in which they go,
strength of schedule got
Right.
you in. Yeah.
Right.
When we looked at it, they just played a better schedule. Their losses are better than their, a win against Kennesaw State to us is not as good against a loss against LSU. By the way, for all you people that cheat and get that illegal streaming platform, Stream East, they shut it down.
Yes, they did.
Shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, and ugly. Today was the day when. What's on tap? That's next.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
PJAD, yes. Yes. I can tell by your tone you don't want to believe it. But remember, the NFL started working commercials into Red Zone last year when there was no ESPN involvement. And ESPN gets two things from Red Zone. A, they distribute it. B, they get the rights to the name. So they can use it for hockey or basketball or college or baseball or college football. They can use Red Zone's name if they want to do something similar in another sport. That's what ESPN is getting out of it. And even Clay Travis, who needless to say is not a fan of ESPN, okay, he even said, this is all NFL. Scott Hansen came out yesterday and said this decision was entirely made by the NFL. Scott Hansen gets paid by the NFL. He doesn't get diddly from ESPN. And yet he said, oh, no, the NFL made this decision.
I didn't see it, but I'm just looking at an email here. I get the Outkick email every day, and they've got different things. Apparently, A.J. McCarron was on something yesterday, and he's like, Alabama is problems, isn't Kalen DeBoer. It's cash. The ex-Tide QB says the once feared dynasty is falling behind in the only stat that matters now. NIL dollars.
There you go.
I'm not trying to pat ourselves in the back here. We've been telling you this for 2 years. Alabama's poor in the SEC. They're average at best. They're poor at worst.
Lee's on at 7 a.m. Lee Sterling at 7, Pat Kerwin at 8 tomorrow. By the way, Mark, since your wife's gotten into the tennis a little bit, the women's final will be 4 o'clock Saturday.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Home stretch of Miller and Moulton on this NFL Thursday. We are 22 and a half hours away. What am I talking about? We're 10 and a half hours away. I could use a nap. 10 and a half hours away from the Eagles kicking off against the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football on NBC. With
I got to figure that nap out today. I got stuff to do. I got to figure out when I slide that nap in.
Yeah, well, you go later than normal because
Right.
You're going to stay up later than normal. So
Exactly.
yeah, so don't worry if all of a sudden the nap's at around 3 or so. That'll be fine. That'll work.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
The Roman Empire ended today in like 460 AD. Romulus Augustulus, the last Western Roman Empire, abdicates after forces invade Rome, traditionally ending the Western Roman Empire. Henry Hudson, the first European to discover the island of Manhattan, today in 1609. Los Angeles was founded in 1781. Today. Chief Geronimo surrenders, ending the last major U.S. Indian War today in 1886. 2 years later, this guy named George Eastman patents the first roll film camera and registers the brand name Kodak.
I remember. You just take picture and
Yeah?
yeah.
I don't buy this one, by the way. I do not buy this at all. 1920. Man of War wins the 1 5/8 mile Lawrence Realization Stakes at Belmont by 100 lengths. It is considered the largest winning margin in modern thoroughbred racing history. 100 lengths? You buy it?
No.
I don't either. But I report it. 41. The Yankees clinched their third straight AL pennant, beating the Red Sox. It's the earliest date in baseball history that a team captures the pennant. 1950. The first paved super speedway in NASCAR hosts the Southern 500, the first ever 500-mile event in NASCAR history at Darlington. 1951, the first transcontinental TV broadcast by a president. It was by Harry Truman. That same day, NBC extends to become a 61-station coast-to-coast network. Today in 57, the Arkansas governor calls out the National Guard to prevent 9 black students from entering Little Rock Central High School.
Eisenhower shortly thereafter sent in the federal troops and said, "You will move."
Help by the Beatles goes to number 1 today in 65. David, today a big day in 71 for you, although you may not realize it, because it was today at the Student Prince in Asbury Park that the big man joined the band.
Clarence
Clements joins the E Street Band. You would hear about it in the song 10th Avenue Freeze Out. The Price is Right debuted today in 1972. That same day, Spitz wins his 7th gold at the Munich Games. I don't know which one's bigger, the debut of The Price is Right or Mark Spitz winning 7 gold medals.
Oh, The Price is Right. Come on.
Fleetwood Mac's self-titled album makes number 1 a year after its release. It knocked Peter Frampton's Framptons Come Alive off the charts at number 1. Today in 1976, the band's first album with Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. The Major League Baseball Statistical Accuracy Committee votes to drop the asterisk next to Roger Maris's home run record of 61. Also determines an official no-hitter must go at least 9 innings. That happened today in 91. 2 things happened in 93. Penn State plays its first football game in the Big Ten. Any idea who they played, David?
Michigan State.
Minnesota. Just thought because 93, you may have been in that part of the world covering one of those 2 teams. And Jim Abbott, today in 93, no-hits the Cleveland Indians at Yankee Stadium. If you don't know who Jim Abbott is, for whatever reason, he only had 1 arm.
Well, definitely 1 hand.
Or 1 hand.
Because he had...
Right. On the other side, right.
Yep.
He had 1.5 arms, or has 1.5 arms.
Yep.
94. First 2-point conversion in NFL history. The Browns get it in a win at Cincinnati. Tom Tupa with your first 2-point conversion.
By the way, Browns head coach, Bill Belichick.
98, Google is formally incorporated. 2002, Kelly Clarkson crowned the winner of the first season of American Idol. 05, at the age of 20, Kyle Busch becomes the youngest driver to win a NASCAR Cup race when he outduels Greg Biffle in the Sony HD 500 at California Speedway.
Love it.
And it was today in 2016 that Mother Teresa became a saint. Paul Harvey, Vince Dooley, and Dennis Murphy would have all celebrated birthdays today. Dennis Murphy, you ask who that is? Thanks for asking. He co-founded the ABA, the World Hockey Association, World Team Tennis, and a league I worked in, Roller Hockey International.
Damn.
Right. Ray Floyd is 83. Tom Watson, 76. These two were really just for David and I. Frank White, former Royals infielder, is 75, and Doyle Alexander is also 75 years old today. John Van Beesbrook is 62.
Oh, the Beezer.
Mike Piazza, 57, and Beyonce is 44 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Joan Rivers died 11 years ago today at the age of 81. See, Mark, you can't go Frank White and Doyle Alexander on me, okay?
I've screwed your whole day up, haven't I?
Totally.
Now you've got UL Washington in your head, Amos Otis. I don't know where you're going to go.
Exactly. Those Royals teams. Yeah, I just Brett at third, White at second. Okay, I mean, right. Hal McRae, Amos Otis, Darryl Porter behind the plate. I mean, come on. What are we doing? You can't do that to me. Whitey is manager. Those epic LCSs against the Yankees. Brett running out of the dugout in the pine. Ah, for goodness sakes, mess me up.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Doyle Alexander, 9-0 and 11 starts with the Tigers, and everybody uses his name as an expletive. Hey, it's not his fault they gave up Smoltz for him. Okay, you needed
a win. I'm a Tigers fan. That was a win-win.
You don't win the division in 87 without making the Doyle Alexander trade. Okay, you don't. You don't know John Smoltz is going to turn into John Smoltz. It's like when the Phillies acquired Larry Anderson. All right. And the Red Sox gave up this first baseman in Double-A with 3 home runs. His name was Jeff Bagwell.
For the good, we go to Hershey, Pennsylvania today in a wild story that could have been, the worst ugly imaginable. Every parent's worst nightmare. Family at Hershey Park. Boy goes missing at around 5 p.m. on Saturday. Park employees are searching for him. Somehow the boy entered a secured area to the monorail ride. It was closed. He got through the barricaded turnstile entrance at the platform and was walking on the monorail. A video posted to social media shows the boy walking along the tracks as people are yelling, "Stop, keep going." He covers his ears, begins to walk back the same way. A man climbs onto a nearby building, pulls himself onto the tracks, scoops the boy up, and walks him to safety. Unbelievable.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
It's nuts. For the bad, we go to Naples, where a maintenance employee at a Naples hotel was arrested after stealing a birthday check a guest was attempting to mail. She wrote a birthday card or gave a birthday card and a check to her granddaughter and $500 of a check in the card. The hotel employee stole the card and was arrested when trying to cash the check. Finally, I have held off on this ugly for a while. This is something. We go to Louisiana, where a former Catholic priest is getting his electronics back.
Excuse me?
A Tammany Parish judge ordered the return of electronics belonging to an ex-Roman Catholic priest who pleaded guilty to obscenity for being caught having sex with 2 dominatrix atop the Pearl River Church altar while he was still in the clergy 5 years ago. The judge told authorities to erase all data from the devices and storage media as a precaution against the videos of the escapade becoming public. Former priest Travis Clark gets back his electronics, but he's out, according to the Catholics. And that is the good, the bad, and that's one hell of a threesome. Ugly here on Miller and Moulton.
Just 6 Major League Baseball games, and they're
You notice
all
how he
tonight.
just walked right past that, everybody. He just didn't even he was appalled by that. I just want to let
I wasn't appalled by it. Okay. I'm just curious. Okay, was it the theft or what took place on the altar? Okay, that ultimately forced him, we got to do away with him. That's all. In my head, that's all. I was just answering that question. If it was one or the other, would he still have a case? Probably not. The altar thing probably is an automatic.
I think that'll send you, directly to jail. Do not pass go.
But, who knows if it was just the theft? I mean, maybe they would have, a few penance and what have you. Did I mention 6 baseball games? They're all tonight. All right. Why would you play tonight? Does the MLB schedule maker not know the first Thursday in September is when after Labor Day is when the NFL starts their season? I mean, why are you playing these games tonight? Shouldn't these all be getaway days? Be done and over with? Okay, concede the evening to the NFL. Some good matchups. Rays just 2.5 back, 2 in a loss column for a wild card, hosting Cleveland, who's just 3 back. Phillies and Brewers wrap up their series. Could be an NLCS preview. They've split the first 2.
That one at least starts at 4, so the Philly fans can watch the game on TV before they get ready for the game they care about.
I wonder if they had to petition Milwaukee to move the start time up. Okay. Is this one of the rare times you bet against Skeens? Will he complete the sweep for the Pirates at home against the Dodgers? Blake Snell for the Dodgers. Just wondering. It's basically a toss-up bet. Yankees in Houston wrapping up that 3-game series as well. Eagles, I'd lay the 8.5 tonight.
As would I. I'm sorry. I wanted to believe in Dallas. I wanted to try to think that things were going to get better, but they cannot get out of their own way. Eagles roll tonight. They might win by 2 touchdowns, David.
Well, I think, by the way, higher scoring game than not. If I had to pick an over-under, I think I'd go over. I could see Dak with a late touchdown, okay, to certainly make it go over and possibly be a late grunter.
Yeah, but I'd go under. I'm thinking 27-13, something like that. I just don't see Dallas scoring a lot.
Over-under yards on Barkley. I don't know what they are, but if it's 100, I'd go over.
Ooh. All right. That Dallas run defense is so good. They got their run stuffer. They're back. Don't forget it.
Check closely, by the way. Certain places I just looked, the game's down to 7.5. So it's been volatile. It was 7.5 36 hours ago. Went up to 8.5. Now, I think according to ESPN's bet, it's down to 7.5. So check it out. Miller and Moulton. Lee Sterling at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Pat Kerwin at 8. And we'll make our NFL Week 1 picks. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton